Graham, a brief summation. Why do you think Frankston will win?
I think probably similar to 84, Tony. Our game's coming together at the right time. We showed glimpses against Sandringham last week, and I think we'll go on this week.
Peter, a brief summation. Why do you think we'll win?
Well, I think probably we've got to rely on our running players, Tony, and because of the height of the Frankston side, we'll be relying mainly on our smaller players to run the ball, and that's, I think, where we're going to mainly put our plans.
Well, both coaches very confident there as we come into our VFA season for the last 8 matches of the year, commencing with the big one down here today between Frankston and Port Melbourne, being played under glorious conditions. We're looking forward to a great game, a vital game for both sides, but particularly for the Port Melbourne side. Joining us for our commentary this year for the last 8 games is Gary Bryce, the former captain and coach of the Port Melbourne side. Welcome, Gary.
Thanks very much, Phil. It's very good to be back again.
Well, Gary, I said a vital game, particularly for Port Melbourne. I suppose you'd see it that way too.
Yes, well, we were defeated here last year when I was coaching the side, and the previous year, I remember you televised the game, and they lost that one as well, and it wasn't, it's not a happy hunting ground for Port over the last few years.
What do you think of the particular attributes of the Frankston side?
I think their main advantage over Port will be their size. I think they'll be aiming to take some marks today. They're really good in the air, whereas Port are a good ground side.
All right, Gary, we have young Eddie Maguire here with us. I just wished he looked a little bit older than he does today. But welcome, Eddie, and we wish you every success with the commentary throughout the rest of the season.
Thanks very much, Phil.
Eddie, you've been following VFA quite a bit this season. Who would you select for today?
Well, going on last week's results, it's a bit hard to go past Frankston. Of course, they knocked off last year's premiers in Sandringham, while Port Melbourne went down by 64 points to Williamstown. And I think one of the main features for the viewers at home today will be the form of Paul McCarty at full forward for Frankston. He's got 92 goals for the season so far, and in the last match against Port Melbourne earlier this year in round 6, he kicked 11 goals, so there might be a chance he'll kick his 100 today.
Well, he'll certainly be a player to look forward to seeing. Now, Ian Gibbs here with us. Ian, looking at the ladders, could you give us a rundown there?
Well, basically, we have 5 teams at this point of the season vying for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. We have Coburg well and truly entrenched at the top of the ladder with 12 wins and 2 losses, followed by Frankston with 10 wins, 4 losses. And then we have 3 teams all on 9 and 5, that being Preston, Williamstown and Port Melbourne, obviously only being separated by percentages. We have Sandringham with 8 and 6, and from there on in we have the remainder of the sides, Brunswick, Geelong, West Springvale and Camberwell, but obviously the interest lays from Sandringham up. And Coburg at this point of the season are virtually the only team who are guaranteed to be in the finals.
All right, just bring everyone up to date on the 2nd Division ladder as that stands at the present time.
2nd Division ladder, we have Sunshine well and truly in front with 52 points, Box Hill 48, Oakley and Paran at 44, Dandenong, Waverley and Moorabbin, and the remainder will have difficulty with 4 rounds remaining to get into the final series.
Right, there it is. And now let's go to the Frankston dressing room, and we'll hear Josh Kendall talking with Tony Banks.
Well, here we are in the Frankston rooms and Coach Graham Kendall. Graham, you must be very confident that you can hold Port Melbourne out today, although they are on the rebound.
Yeah, that's probably one of the dangers, and Port always are a side that come back pretty hard after a loss. We had a good win down at Port against them, the first ever at Port Melbourne, and I think our form's coming together at the right time of the year, and we're pretty confident that we'll go on today, yes.
The ruck division, Jeff Saru is in fairly good form, and Port also have had a problem there with a player out with a broken hand.
Yeah, well, that's probably one of the areas that we think that will, could be the difference in the game. Our big man strength this year, Bardole, full-back, Geddes at centre-half back, Kelvin Moore centre-half forward, and, of course, Riley up in the forward pocket. I think that they'll cause a few problems for Port Melbourne.
You're likely to keep Kelvin at centre-half forward all day, or do you think that you'll play it on its merits, depending on how you're going?
Yeah, that'll depend on the day. He's done particularly well on this ground at centre-half forward, and his form last week was excellent and probably one of his best games for the season for us. So, yeah, we're pretty confident that Kel will do the job today.
Well, the weather's fine. It's going to be a fine day for the big match.
Righto, back here, there we have the players in the Frankston room getting ready for the big clash today. And as we said, a most important game for Frankston, but more important for Port Melbourne. And the crowd is starting to build up here at the Frankston Oval. They don't usually build up around until about the 2:15, 2:30 mark, but they're very enthusiastic supporters. In a few moments, we'll be taking you over to Tony Banks, who will be interviewing the coach of Port Melbourne.
wants a few moments of peace on the way to a concert, or just enjoys a quiet conversation, Mitsubishi Magna is your car. Superbly quiet, so you can hear every note, every word. Magna, a totally new class of quiet. From Mitsubishi, car maker of the year, again.
They're happy little Vegemites, as bright can be. They all enjoy their Vegemite for breakfast, lunch and tea, because they love their Vegemite. They all adore their Vegemite. It puts a roll in every
After 60 years, Vegemite is still one of the world's richest sources of vitamin B.
It puts a roll in every tea.
This commercial was going to be about nothing. But now it's about something and nothing. The something is creamy peppermint chocolate, and the nothing is wonderful bubbles of nothing. When they're mixed together to make peppermint arrow, well, nothing tastes so delicious. Nothing tastes so melt in the mouth. In fact, nothing tastes anything quite like it. It's really something. Peppermint arrow. It's the bubbles of nothing that make it really something.
Monday, the controversial special, Out of Time, Out of Place. The amazing discovery of two civilizations here in Australia as far back as 30,000 years.
And neither of these ancient Australians are like modern Aboriginal.
Two communities from an extraordinary past. Out of time, out of place.
If these Mungo people were thrown forward in time to the present day, we couldn't distinguish them from modern humanity.
Just who were the first to inhabit Australia? Out of time, out of place. On the David Johnston Collection, 7:30 Monday on 10.
And the result of the game here with the seconds, the 2020 to 2014, which was a win by Port Melbourne. Well, 178 to 130. Is that 176 to 134? There it is. They'd taken the score off to change it. So it's 26-20, 176 to 2014, 134. Port Melbourne defeating Frankston in that game. And now let's go to the Port Melbourne dressing room, where we'll have Tony Banks talking with coach Peter Chisnell.
In the Port Melbourne rooms with coach Peter Chisnell. Peter, last week you weren't exactly wrapped in your science performance. I don't want to start on a negative point of view, but you obviously expect them to bounce back this week.
Well, I think we should, Tony. Yeah, we've prepared very well during the week, so and the players have come up extremely well, and we've got 3 or 4 players coming back into the side, so our balance, I think, should be a lot better this week. So with having a bit better balanced side, I think they will bounce back.
Frankston beat you also for the first time ever, I think, in the history of VFA football at Port Melbourne earlier this year.
That's right, yeah. That was a bit of a kick in the teeth to us, Tony, you know, being beaten on our home ground by Frankston. And but I think this time around we're going to probably have a better balanced side. We lost a few players without making excuses prior to the half-time break, and it was weight and numbers in the end that beat us. But these blokes are going to come back pretty strongly.
On the positive side of things, you brought the players down here to Frankston nice and early this morning. You've been together with them, you had a look at a few films. Obviously, the camaraderie in the team is good.
Very good, Tony, yes. They're a young mob of players, and we've got 85% new players in this team, and we've had to bring them together, and 7 weeks ago it started to happen. We had a break last week against Williamstown, but I think the camaraderie showed through, and a bit of character showed through over the week that we've had together preparing for this game. So, and we want to play in the final, so this is the start of it all for us.
Well, for Port Melbourne's sake, we hope so. We're waiting on the teams to make their appearance out onto the ground. The 2 umpires for today are umpire Marshall and umpire Gleeson. But let's now, while the Frankston team is preparing, have a look at the selected lineup. It's different from last Thursday night selections. That's the selection. Let's run through the team as selected, and you can note off the changes. On the back line, we have Jeff Raven, Peter Bodell, and Jeff Amor. Half-backs, Arthur Bell, Peter Geddes, and Glenn Brown. The centre is Mark Zanecki. Half-forwards, Brian Painter, Kelvin Moore, and Richard Whitfield. The forward line is Grant O'Reilly, Paul McCarty, and Tony O'Brien. The rucks, Jeff Saru and Brett Hutchinson, and the rover is David Dunbar. Now, you'll notice quite a few changes there, but more to come, because Port Melbourne have virtually changed their side right around. Looking from the back line, we have Peter Carter, Ian Cooper, Steve Allender, halfbacks, Mick Hoy, David Crutchfield, and Neil Ross. The centres, Billy Swan. The half-forwards, Justin Metcalf, Mick Bailey, and Bruce Mornay. The forwards, Mick Doherty, Paul McDonald, and Ashley Hicks. The ruck is Robert Taylor, ruck rovers Brendan Mutimer, and the rover is Mick Jennings. All I'd like to say at this stage, I cannot ever understand why clubs put out selected sides on a Thursday night for the print media on a Friday and change them around the way they do come the Sunday or Saturday in league, Gary.
Well, one of the reasons, Phil, is that very often, even though selection is held on a Thursday, that the team isn't finalised until Saturday morning. That was certainly the case when I was coaching Port. So you do have to put in some sort of a side on a Thursday night, but very often you have to change through injury or for whatever reason, illness. Sometimes that occurs. You can't do much about it.
Yeah, but it's become much more prevalent in recent years, I think.
I think in the last probably 5 to 6 years it's happened more frequently, that's for sure.
Well, Gary, Frankston are now coming out onto the ground, led by their captain, Peter Geddes. And they're a pretty strong combination. I was talking with their president, and he was telling me, as Port Melbourne now make their appearance onto the arena, and of course they're led on by their captain, Bill Swan, that Frankston are 10 players down through injury on this side today.
Yes, well, that may cause them a few problems, but I mean, Port have been in the same situation throughout the year too, with some of their key players being injured, and of course Chadban being out today will leave them fairly well depleted as well.
All right, Gary, and the field umpires for today, umpire Marshall with umpire Gleeson.
Today's living legend, Taylor's Lakes. Why don't you make the move? With big, beautiful blocks to give you all the room you'll ever need to build your very special dream. Taylor's Lakes Keywall, where people picnic in their own backyard, where parks and playgrounds are close to home. Taylor's Lakes, 20 minutes from town, or ring Abbott and Dean.
Herbal Sea, a very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors. This Herbal Sea has a strong soothing action of eucalyptus and menthol and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C, while this Herbal Sea has a gentle soothing action of honey and lemon and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C. You might get stuck with a sore throat this winter, but at least you won't get stuck with the same ordinary flavors. Herbal Sea, a very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors.
When the apples were ripe for picking, we were always thinking up ways to get the best ones. The ones Nana used for her pies. I reckon we picked a bucketful for every pie. And a pastry that wasn't thin enough till you could see through it. And you know, even after the biggest slice, there was always room for more.
Nana's light and extra fruity pies. There's apple, apricot, blackberry and apple.
And there's always room for more.
Bonjour. May I present to you Délices de France, a superior range of creamy cheese spreads à la française. Many great flavors like smooth, creamy French onion, zucchini and cucumber. The bite of pepper, smoked salmon, garlic and herb. Ah, quel fromage. What a cheese. Enjoy it every day. Délices de France, the one with Pierre on the pan.
Right, players, as we mentioned already, out on the field, and we'll take you down now to Tony Banks for the toss.
Thank you very much, Phil. Well, Peter Marshall's about to do the toss. I'll just give him the coin. Billy Swan from Port Melbourne will do the calling. Call heads, kicking with the breeze. Peter Geddes has to go against the breeze. There's the call. Play underway very soon. Back to you, Phil.
Right, Tony, and that means that Port Melbourne will be kicking to the right of your screen, down towards the bay end of the ground. And the other end is called the Young Street end here, or Beauty Park end at Frankston. Both sides very keen as we have a look at the weather. Cloudy periods, a shower or two. Currently it's 15 degrees, the expected top 14. Well, that's typical of a weather forecast. Expected top 14, it's currently 15. And of course the forecast said yesterday we could expect hail last night and a terrible day today, which doesn't help sporting organisations in lots of areas, not only in football but in racing as well. The forecasters can only forecast, I suppose, the way the charts read and so on. But usually on these forecasts, particularly on weekends, Gary, the public are the ones to suffer because they make up their minds the day before whether they're going to a sporting event or not.
Yes, I think that's the case, and certainly the case today. A beautiful day, and we'd like to see as many people come down here as possible.
Well, Eddie, how do you feel a win?
Well, Frankston, I think at the moment, Phil, but of course Port Melbourne have got a lot of fighting qualities. But Frankston, as I said earlier, have had a great win last week against Sandringham, whereas the old Boroughs went down in a thrashing to Williamstown. They've got a great full forward in McCarty, and they've got a lot of running players in Painter and O'Brien coming through the centre who feed off him, give the ball to him well. And I've also got Kelvin Moore, the former 300 gamer from Hawthorn, who was in great form last week, and he's been an inspiration for them up at centre-half forward. Of course, he used to play at full-back at Hawthorn, but he should be an inspiration, as I said, up there at full forward for some of the younger players.
Gary, it would be expected that you'd select Port Melbourne.
And I certainly will.
Yes, why?
Well, I think they know very well that to win the game, they've got to bring the ball to the ground. I think they'll be prepared to do that, and I think they'll be just too quick for Frankston.
Ian, what happened last time these two sides met?
It was in round 6 and it was played at Port Melbourne. Frankston had a 17-point victory, 22-6, 138 to Port Melbourne, 18-13, 121. Given that Frankston have only lost one game down here this season, and the fact that Frankston did defeat Port Melbourne at Port, I don't think you can do anything but select Frankston to win down here today.
OK, now we're just waiting on the umpires to take both sides in hand. Attendants moving off the ground. Strong breeze favouring the bay end of the ground, a very strong breeze, as a matter of fact. Seems to have sprung up more in the last 15 minutes. And the field umpire, Gleeson, getting ready for the bounce. Ruckman setting themselves, beaten a little rover for Frankston, plays with the socks down. He's number 16. 27, Zarnecki will come in from the side, playing in the centre. And the 31 is Saru. Well, there goes the bounce, and Saru getting the first knockout from the ruck position. Tap further on, a kick off the ground, sees the ball come up towards half forward. Moving in there is Crutchfield of Port Melbourne, a dribble off the ground by Ross of Port Melbourne, but bearing down on the ball now is Whitfield of Frankston. Scrambling play at the moment as the umpire decides to come in and ball it up about 20 metres out from the Frankston goal at the Young Street end of the ground. This is field umpire Gleeson coming in for the bounce. 31 is Carter of the Port Melbourne side. A nice tap out there from Port Melbourne by Mick Hoy, but the umpire again blows the whistle, and it will be a ball up in that same position. Standing wide of the pack here is Crutchfield. Tap wide, down towards Crutchfield. He gets a hand pass in. Allender couldn't get the kick in. Pick up again by Crutchfield. Sees it go up towards that centre half forward, or the centre of the ground. And the opportunity for Port to get it away through Swan, who's being shoved a little bit here by Brown of Frankston, but he eventually gets the kick in up towards the centre half forward position. Tapping it back over his head for Port Melbourne is Bailey. But it eventually comes out here to be taken away by Dunbar of Frankston. Dunbar's kick towards centre half forward nearly found Moore. He was unable to mark. The umpire says around the neck to Moore, and he'll get a free kick. He's within scoring range, although you must remember he's kicking against the wind. So Moore just slightly wide of centre half forward. He's gone for the short pass here, and a bad pass marked by Allender. Didn't travel far enough, and Allender very quick to return it wide of the centre of the ground. That's got to be a free kick to be taken this time by the Port Melbourne player Doherty. Doherty wide of the centre of the ground, moves around Bell, and then plays it out deep into the right half forward flank. Oh, a lunge at it there by Bardole. He gets it away from his immediate opponent, with the ball being taken around the boundary line. And Bardole again comes up into it, tried to get it away from Swan, couldn't do so. Arthur Bell comes up to take it away for Frankston. They're playing strongly, the Dolphins, as it comes up here towards Moore, down towards the ground, and it's O'Brien who bursts away with it, puts it into the hands of O'Reilly, and O'Reilly's confidence will go sky high as he puts it through for full points.
When the great museums of modern art close their doors, one light can be relied upon to perform night
after night. Durabeam. So well designed, it's able to protect every piece in the world's richest collections of modern art, including these. Durabeam by Duracell. No ordinary torch looks like it. No ordinary torch performs like it.
Frankston had first points on the board, 1 goal, that's a total of 6 points, and Swan is the player to go down to the ground. Just to Gary Bryce for a moment, with O'Reilly taking that big mark, that'll give Frankston and O'Reilly a bit of confidence.
Yes, and I think Moore also will be a headache if he starts getting on top at centre-half forward.
Any problems you can see at the moment?
I can't see any at the moment. Although Frankston have been far more impressive at this stage.
Right, player coming out with it now is Metcalf. Metcalf traps the ball again. Now we'll go for the long hand pass, get it across here in the direction of Jennings. Jennings back here to Metcalf, and Metcalf shoots it across towards that centre-half forward position. Dropped a little bit short, and this will give the backmen of Frankston the opportunity. Saru was trying to bend down to get it away. Zarnecki gains possession. He loses it. Down they go. Ross is the player, pushing the ball wide of the pack. Look at them going in there desperately at the moment. A pick up again by Ross, who goes for the short pass, and it's been marked by Moore. A Mutimer of Port Melbourne, who sends it up towards that forward zone. That wasn't too good. There's a bit of a go. Bardol saying a word or two, and the Port Melbourne player was Mornay. And here we'll see it all happen again. Bardol goes up, and Mornay wasn't all that bad, Eddie.
No, it wasn't. Just a bit of a cuff over the ear there, Phil.
Well, nothing like a smack in the ear on a cold day.
That's right. Throw in on the outer side flank. Saru gets the tap. Comes down there to Painter. Can't burst through the pack. Finally, Swan with the long kick down towards full forward. Bardol punches from behind. Off the hands of the pack. Comes out there towards Doherty. Doherty swings onto the left foot. Tries to get back. Gets tackled. Picked up there well by Hutchison. Hutchison comes out to Zarnecki as he gets the handball across to Bell. Bell chips it in short to the wing position, and it goes to Dunbar. Dunbar with the 1-2 back towards Bell. He kicks up towards centre-half forward, but it's marked there by Ross. Ross chips out wide, looking for Jennings on this occasion. He marks. Had Crutchfield running loose, couldn't get the handball. Chips in towards the centre of the ground, finds Mutimer. Mutimer now swings onto the left foot, drives down towards the forward pocket position. Up high was Bardol, punched it away. Picked up there by... strong play there by Bardol as he comes out of defence. Gets it to Saru. Saru across to Bell. Bell with a long hand pass up forward. Finds Whitfield as the Dolphins go strongly into defence. Dunbar got the ball under pressure and he's dispossessed. The ball finally comes out to the wing position where it's marked there by Doherty. He plays on straight away up the long hand pass. A lot of pressure being exerted there. Bailey can't pick it up. Good play there as Moore gets a long hand pass across.
Righto, and it comes out in front of the Port Melbourne goal, but a kick off the ground sees it go over the line and out of bounds at the Bay end of the ground. Just having a look at the Mitsubishi scoreboard, Frankston are 1 goal and Port Melbourne have yet to score. A lot of pressure being applied by the Port Melbourne forwards, but that was a nice old fly there. And a little bit of frustration from Taylor as he got on the shoulders of his opponent. And we'll see the free kick now being taken by Saru of Frankston. He gets it to the half-back line, out on the full. All right, comments from Gary Bryce there. There's a bit of frustration, I feel, coming into some of the Port players, Gary.
Yes, and not only that, they're fumbling and slipping over at this stage of the game, so obviously very nervous.
Well, a very important game for them. They're attacking at the present time with the advantage of a strong win, but yet have been unable to score, and we've been playing a total of 7 minutes into the first quarter. Still fumbling play going on down there. Players leaning sideways and scooping the ball out from the packs. The opportunity for Ross to get it back here in the direction of Mutimer. Mutimer tried to break away, but I was following the ball there. Now, there's a problem with Ross. Did you see what happened, Gary?
Yes, in attempting to shepherd, he did make contact with the Frankston player's head, and they've taken the free kick. What a potential goal to Port, and a free kick to Frankston now.
All right, we're just waiting for the ball to be returned. It had been kicked right downfield, and the free kick will be taken by Painter. He's on the half-back line. Here it is coming back to him, and on the Mitsubishi scoreboard we have Frankston 1 goal and Port Melbourne have yet to score. So Painter's kick goes wide of the centre. Players get under the ball, and a good mark taken by Peter Carter of Port Melbourne. From the half-back line, Carter towards the half-forward line. Bell was the player coming in on the ball then. Got interfered with, but play continues. It will be a ball up in a sec, I would imagine. Scrambling play. The umpire allowed it to continue, and eventually the pick-up by Bailey. Bailey kicks the ball into the pack, and it goes over the line of that.
Throw in. Saru gets the tap. It'll be a free kick there. Should go to Port Melbourne, and it does. And it'll be Taylor who takes the free kick. Taylor and Saru, I think we can expect to have a lot of physical clashes between those two throughout the day. And Taylor now, with the aid of a 15-metre penalty, should be able to drive the ball, if not through the big sticks, right up into the square. Kicking with the breeze coming across the face of the goal towards the right-hand forward pocket. Taylor fancies himself with the drop punt. It's high, it's just offline though, and through for one behind. So
well, that means it took Port Melbourne a total of 8.5 minutes to score with the advantage of the win. Not good, Gary?
It's not good at this stage, and full credit to Frankston. They're defending very well. The back line's well on top.
Bardol with the kick out. Has leads coming from Raven. Kicks out wide. Raven and Hicks will run for the ball. Hicks with the long sleeves, but it's good play by Raven as he drives up towards the wing position, looking there for Whitfield. It's off his hands. The race for the ball now. Painter goes in for Frankston. Takes on Allender. Players bottled up there. Finally, the handball comes out towards Zarnecki. Zarnecki with clever play. Taps it along to Dunbar. Dunbar onto the left foot. But it's intercepted by Ian Cooper, the former Collingwood player. He quickly plays on with the handball to Whitfield. He takes it out towards Hicks on the outer side wing. Hicks has got plenty of time to drive down towards the half-forward flank. Up high there was Brown for Frankston, and the ball's knocked out of bounce. And it'll be a throw-in on the half-forward flank for Frankston.
Righto, just waiting for the ball to come back into play. Frankston 1 goal. Port Melbourne on the Mitsubishi scoreboard have scored 1 point. And it comes once again, knocked very wide of the pack, but again to the boundary line. Zarnecki was waiting wide for it, but it eluded him and went over the line on the stand side of the ground. 10 minutes of play in progress. Port Melbourne defeated last week and rather soundly, battling to get back in the 4 all round the neck, and the free kick will be taken here by Saru of Frankston. There's a word or two being said out there like that when they push the ball out, Gary.
Yes, I think they should have quite an interesting afternoon, those two players.
I know, it comes down low to the half-back line for Port Melbourne, into the centre, and the player to take the mark here was Metcalf. Metcalf up towards the centre-forward zone. Good mark. That was by Brown of Frankston. Brown not wasting any time towards centre-half forward. Players move in under the ball. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on, but Moore is the player to take it. Look at this. Oh, we missed it on the camera. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on as Cooper comes out. He's leading his opponent, McCarty, to the ball on a couple of occasions now and playing very well. Allender waiting underneath it, and Allender takes the mark. Now we have coming up for Port Melbourne, McCarty taking that hand pass. They're rising high, but no one able to take the mark on the half-back line. Pushed out wide, taken away this time by the Port Melbourne player Hicks. Hicks towards centre forward, and it's through for full point. So on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, we have Frankston 2 goals straight, and Port Melbourne have scored the one behind.
Is a most advanced form of pain-relieving aspirin. Aspro Clear is totally soluble, and so is rapidly absorbed to work quickly and effectively. To help relieve headache, to help reduce fever, to help relieve body aches and pains. Use only as directed, and if pain persists, see your doctor. Every day, more and more Australians place their trust in Aspro Clear. Aspro Clear, totally soluble and works fast.
Right back here and just checking that score for you. Porter 1-1-7, leading Frankston 1 goal straight. Well, the umpire coming in for the ball up. Just out from the Frankston goal, kicking against the wind towards the Young Street end. So only about 20 metres out from goal. Moving in there for Frankston was O'Reilly. Comes out wide, a pick up by Moore, who tried to shoot it towards the goals. Moving in here is Metcalf. Metcalf from the half-back line now. Gets that one bounce in. He'll get a second as he now goes for the balk around opponents and puts the play into the centre of the ground. Coming in from behind is Saru. Oh, he's juggled the ball. It looked like a throw pass there, but eventually it will end up out here with Beaton. Beaton now dodging his own player, passing it back in the direction of teammate Dunbar. Dunbar in turn towards Moore. Moore with a long kick down towards the centre forward zone, and Cooper will end up with the free kick. He's battling against O'Reilly there, and Cooper was in front and getting a bit of attention from O'Reilly. Cooper plays at the half-back line out here on the outer side of the ground, and the mark taken by the Port Melbourne player in Hoy. Hoy now with his kick towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. They rise for it. It's a Frankston mark. The player untangling himself down there, and it's Geddes, captain of the Frankston side. Peter Geddes now from the outer wing, plays it in towards the centre. Sun shining, you can see the players shading their eyes as the ball gets to them. Ross is the player to gain possession, to send it towards the half-forward line. Stack of players come into it, and racing away with the ball is Doherty. Doherty towards the forward zone, but as you can see, it's offline. That gave an indication of how dry the ground is here. Dust came up as it hit the turf at the bay end of the ground.
Throw in now. Port Melbourne a big chance to score. Will be Saru in the ruck. Gets the tap down. Doherty grabs it. The umpire's picked out a free kick and will go to Saru. And Saru and Taylor have had a battle at every throw-in and ball up so far. Saru's kicks out wide. He's looking there for O'Brien. It bounces awkwardly for him. Bardole picks up well. Gets the handball to Zarnecki, who's got a paddock in front of him. He gets the hand pass over the top to Whitfield. Now Whitfield has a bounce. Hoy's bearing down on him. He kicks in towards the full forward, looking for O'Reilly. Crutchfield in front. O'Reilly takes the mark. Play on, says the umpire. He has a snap for goal, but it's offline and through for one behind. Frankston now 1-1-7. Dead level with Port Melbourne, also 1-1-7. And that is at the 14.5-minute mark of the first quarter. Ian Cooper will take the kick out. Kicks wide. Taylor picks up the ball. Kicks towards the wing position. He was bumped as he kicked it, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. And the free kick will be taken there by Amore. Jeff Amore has leads coming upfield from Kelvin Moore. Kicks wide. Geddes backs back. Can't take the mark. Play on, says the umpire. Very tight to the boundary line. Comes out to Beaton. Off hands. Picked up there by Carter. Carter bursts through onto the left foot. Kicks wide towards the half-forward flank position, but the ball will go over the line and out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in on the half-forward line for Port Melbourne.
Righto, just waiting on the throw-in. And Gary Bryce, as a coach, what would you be doing at this stage? Anything?
Well, I'd be asking the half-forward line to show a bit more commitment. I don't think the delivery of the ball is particularly good from the Port Melbourne back line either. So they're the two areas that's really concerned. There's another goal to Port.
No, it isn't.
Is it? No, it isn't.
Behind by Metcalf, and that takes Port Melbourne to the front. Port Melbourne on the Mitsubishi scoreboard move on to 1-2, a total of 8 points, and Frankston 1-1, 7 points. When they do get the ball down there, Gary, they seem to lack a bit of accuracy too. They just seem to be spraying the shots up towards the forward zone and hoping for the best.
Yes, their skill level is not really good at this stage. Their kicking and handballing is not good. They're still fumbling, and I don't think that they're delivering the ball anywhere near well enough to their forwards at this stage.
Well, the ball comes out to Metcalf onto the left foot there. Had a open goal in front of him, but he's offline and through for one behind. So Port wasting a few chances now. They're 1-3-9. They lead Frankston by 2 points, with Bardole about to kick out again for the Frankston side.
Ian, let's have some of the statistics on the game to this stage.
Port Melbourne are busier in the air, taking 13 marks to Frankston 5. Free kicks stand at this point 5 to Frankston and 4 to Port Melbourne.
All right, and the ball on the wing. Ross comes in for Port Melbourne. He's being tackled, gets a hand pass across here to Hicks. Hicks got grabbed and the ball eventually went over the line and out of bounds. A lot of niggling going on when these players are in the packs. On the half-forward line for Port Melbourne, Ruckman set themselves, a high riser there, but he was unable to get away with it. That was Taylor of the Port Melbourne side, pushed out towards the boundary line. And again, negative football going on at the present time with the ball out of bounds in the same position. Right half-forward flank for Port Melbourne. Not a bad crowd building up here either, as you can see in the background. Into play it comes once again, knocked well wide of the pack. Bearing down on the ball is the Frankston player in brown. He's got possession now pass back, and Frankston getting out of trouble here. It's scrambling type of football. Port Melbourne players, their forwards, are trying to get the pressure on them, but can't do it. Throw-in about to be affected. In the right forward pocket for Port Melbourne. They need to be a lot further ahead, Port Melbourne, than they are. Only 2 points ahead at this stage with the advantage of a strong wind. A kick for goal by Metcalf sees it go through for another behind to Port Melbourne, taking them to 1-4 with Frankston on 1-1. Would you make any moves at this stage, Gary?
I wouldn't, no. I just let it go at this stage.
That was Metcalf's third minor score too. He's kicked 3 points in succession. Right, here's Billy Swan now, taking it into his own hands, coming down from the centre. He's made the difference, and he puts it through for full points. So the captain of Port Melbourne have made them 2-4.
Announcing the McDonald's International Junior Tennis Challenge.
This is junior tennis at its best, and McDonald's would like you to be part of it. You'll see the top juniors from Australia, the USA, West Germany and Scandinavia. Last year, the Australians won, and they're determined to make it 2 in a row. There's a limited number of complimentary tickets available at all McDonald's restaurants now. So pick up your tickets and see the world's top juniors in action. August 15, 16 and 17 at the Camberwell Tennis Centre.
Tap down from Saru. Comes out towards the wing position, leading the race for the ball. It's Allender. Allender hooks back with the right foot up towards the half-forward flank, but it's all Frankston there. Tripped up at the last minute there was Brown. Now Brown has Saru at centre half-forward calling for the ball. Decides to come up the wing position. It's an awkward-looking kick, punched away from Mutimer there, but Saru takes the mark at centre half-back for the Frankston side, and he was met there with a bit of opposition. Saru's long kick up towards the centre half-forward position. Playing well there is Ross. He's been a staunch defender for the Port Melbourne side so far. His 5th kick goes down towards the centre half-forward position. Punched away by Brown. In goes Mutimer. He traps the ball well. Looks for the hand pass to Swan. Decides to swing onto the left foot and kick out wide to Hicks. That's a set plan that Port Melbourne have coming out of defence, kicking out to Hicks on that half-forward flank position. Hicks taking a lot of time. All the forwards are matched up. Decides to kick towards full forward position. Bardol is up high, but there's a very strong mark taken there by Bailey, and he's well within range, hoping to put Port Melbourne's 3rd goal on the board. Bailey will be lining up with his first kick for the game. Dead in front, he'd be 40 metres out from goal. And Port Melbourne starting to get a little bit of system into their game now. Bailey comes in, drop punt on its way. Umpire hasn't moved, and it's a beautiful goal there to Bailey. Great mark, and that's their 3rd goal.
They're happy little Vegemite, as bright as bright can be. They all enjoy their Vegemite for breakfast, lunch and tea, because they love their Vegemite. They all adore their Vegemite. It puts a roll in every
After 60 years, Vegemite is still one of the world's richest sources of vitamin B.
It puts a roll in every tea.
Okay, and Frankston into attack with the ball going up towards the half-forward line. Moving in to try and trap it was Carter. But a pick-up out here for Frankston. Sees it shot towards goal by Taylor, and he's put it through for full points. So Frankston now move on to 13 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, and Port Melbourne at 22.
Wake up on top of the world, Sealy, feeling that bounce out to take on the world, Sealy, feeling.
Start your day on top of the world. Sealy Posturepedic, designed in cooperation with orthopedic surgeons to stop backache caused by a too soft mattress. Wake on top of the world with Sealy Posturepedic and sail through your day.
Get that Sealy Posturepedic feeling, Sealy, feeling.
Zarnecki just got a big knockout from the ruck that went down to beaten up towards the half-forward line, forced over the line and out of bounds. Just been looking at the play of Port Melbourne, Gary. They don't seem to be able to get that ball on their attacking flank.
No, I think they've played on this side of the ground too much. They should be taking over with the scoreboard. I think a good example of that was the last goal where we got it to Hicks over there and down to the middle of the ground. This side is not a productive side of the ground.
By the same token, the backmen of Frankston are forcing them into this outer side.
Yes, the Frankston backline are well on top at this stage.
Beautiful mark there by Saru. He's probably been the better of the 2 ruckmen on the day so far. Saru shows the ball He's got a 15-metre penalty. It's his 5th kick. He sucked Taylor in a little bit there. He's kicked wide looking for McCarty. McCarty in front. Cooper from behind. He takes a fine mark. Play on, says the umpire. Chips it in towards centre half forward, and Mutimer takes the mark. Mutimer, the former North Melbourne player, kicks long with the torpedo towards a half forward flank position. Hicks is there. Doherty taps it on. No player can gain control of the ball at the moment as Brown dives on top of it for Frankston. He's pushed in the back, and the umpire says holding the ball. Play on, says the umpire, paying the advantage as Swan drives forward, and he's put it through. A lovely goal there by Billy Swan, the captain. That's his 2nd goal.
Hi, Philomena here with some great holiday specials. $13.99 return to London, Edinburgh, Glasgow and all UK ports. $13.99 return to Dublin, Belfast, Cork or Shannon. Honolulu, $8.49 return. West Coast USA, $12.99. Don't miss out. Book now. Call Philomena's Travel, 602-3866. 602-3866.
That was a great goal by Swan. Port Melbourne 4-4-28 now lead 2-1-13 Frankston as they go into attack again. Up high was Bardol. Doherty leads the race for the ball. He'll pick up and have plenty of room. He swings onto the right foot, centres it well. It's 2 out in the square, punched away from by Frankston player there, Geddes, and it's through for 1 behind. Port Melbourne have got all the attacking at the moment. Bardol will take the kick. It's good play there by Mick Doherty to centre the ball. Unfortunately for Port Melbourne, it was punched through. Bardol chips out towards Saru. They're looking for him every time in that kick out. And once again, Taylor jumps all over him and will have a 15-metre penalty against him.
You notice there, though, that Frankston are playing to the defensive pocket all the time as we see the kick-off again. And it comes out here to Big Saru. And look at the slinging going on here now at the present time, and it comes out to be taken away by Brown. Brown of Frankston towards centre half forward, looking for his teammate in O'Reilly. O'Reilly gets it around the net and he gets the free kick. There's no doubt about it. If you can get O'Reilly on top, you've got the team a bit on top too, Gary.
Well, yes, he's an excellent mark, and he's moved out to centre half forward now, so they've got something to fire at.
Well, Cooper, I feel, has been winning at full back as it comes up now towards that centre half forward position, and the mark taken in defence by Jennings. So Jennings now goes for a hand pass well wide of the pack, taken away by Metcalf. Metcalf now will go for the hand pass to Allender. Allender, when being tackled, goes for a further hand pass to Hicks, who held the ball, and the free kick will be taken for Frankston by Raven. Raven, the blonde-headed player, combines well with Bardol when he's down in that back pocket. So Raven now with a message going out onto the ground. It'll go to the Port Melbourne player by the look of it. As the kick goes up towards the right forward pocket, knocked away by Allender towards the boundary line. Throw in. Mitsubishi scoreboard, Port Melbourne 4-5-29, Frankston 2-1-13. Well, do you think that Port Melbourne are ahead enough with this breeze that they've got?
I don't think so. No, I'd say it'd be a 3 or 4 goal breeze, so that they aren't doing well enough at this stage of the game.
I know. Well, we're just waiting now on the umpire. He's telling the runner to move away from the players. Umpires Marshall and Gleeson here today. It was Gleeson bouncing the ball there. As it comes through to the Port Melbourne player Carter. Now being taken right downfield by Metcalf. Metcalf from the outer wing position towards the half-forward line. Bardol coming in from behind, pushes it down to the ground, and then coming around them was the Port Melbourne forward in Mornay. And I think there's been a free kick awarded down here, and it will be taken for Frankston, and the player is Brown. Brown from the half-back line gets his kick towards the wing on the stand side of the ground. They rise pretty high for it. And a hand pass out here to Zarnecki. Zarnecki moving downfield towards the half-forward line. Players move out towards it, but no one able to get under the ball. And this is the opportunity now. I think it's O'Reilly who's coming into it. Crutchfield towards the half-back line, and he's put it out of bounds. I was thinking of O'Reilly there, Gary, in the Port Melbourne colours for a while.
It's a bit unfamiliar seeing him in the black.
Isn't it? He's a much-travelled footballer, and I don't think people realise the number of clubs he's been to in recent years.
He went to South Australia midway through last year and came back.
And that's a goal scored by O'Brien of Frankston. O'Brien now taking Frankston on the Mitsubishi scoreboard to 3-1, Port Melbourne 4-5. Yeah, went to South Australia, but he's had a stint with Fitzroy.
He did.
With the Swans.
Started at Port, went to... well, he started originally with South Melbourne in the under-19s, came to Port, went over to Fitzroy, back to Port again, South Australia, and now back at Frankston.
Well, play has been in progress, 27 minutes. Eddie Maguire.
Great goal there to Frankston by O'Brien. Good roving on that time. Saru tries to take the ball out of the ruck. He's grabbed by Taylor there, and the umpire will come in and bounce. Having their own private war, Saru and Taylor. Players milling around the ball at the moment. Saru comes in, gets the tap, uses his body well. Going through hard was Ross for Port Melbourne. The umpire once again he's picked out a free kick on this occasion, and it'll go there to Mick Hoy. Hoy straight away onto Metcalf. Metcalf with the left foot kick up towards the half-forward flank. Flying high from behind was Geddes. Bardol picks up for Frankston. Bardol onto the right foot, kicks it out of bounds on the full, and Hicks will take the free kick for the Port Melbourne side. Hicks, normally a good kick of the football, plays on straight away, drives it straight down towards the full forward line. McDonald was up high for Port Melbourne. Off the hands of the pack was Carter, and he's put it through for one behind. Carter, the vice-captain of Port Melbourne, had the snap on the left foot. He could only kick a point. This time it'll be Bell. He plays on straight away from defence. Kicks up towards the half-forward line, looking there for Geddes. And Geddes pulls in the mark. Rather, it was Jeff or Moore. Moore kicking up towards the half-forward line. Behind was Kelvin Moore, and he's been a great player at centre-half forward so far for Frankston. His fifth kick, kicking up wide. O'Reilly from behind. Coming through was Cooper for Port Melbourne. Comes out wide from Crutchfield. Leading the race for the ball here is Port Melbourne.
Right, and it comes out towards the half-back line. Ross is the player to take it up towards the half-forward line, with Frankston on 3-1-19, Port Melbourne 4-6, a total of 30. Kick ends up at Ward towards the centre-forward zone, and Port Melbourne in the ascendancy as the mark has been taken only about 20 metres out from goal by Paul McDonald. Well, McDonald now being brought around on the mark. You'll see him go up, take quite a good mark here from behind. There it is, as he lines them up, and this could be Port Melbourne's fifth goal on the board. Kicking towards the bay end of the ground. It comes in, puts the ball on its way, and it's right through the middle. Port Melbourne go on to 5-6, 36 to Frankston's 3-1, a total of 19. Well, let's have a comment from Gary Bryce now on the play of Port Melbourne. They seem to have settled a little more in the last 10 minutes. Gary.
They have done, yes. They're starting to look for their key forwards a lot better and using the ball a lot better, and I think they're starting to get rid of that nervousness.
Right, we're on the 30-minute mark now into the first term as the siren goes to end the first quarter with Port Melbourne on 5 goals 6, a total of 36, and Frankston on 3-1, a total of 19. So now let's go over to Gary Bryce, and Gary in turn will give us his impression of the game to quarter time.
Well, I think we'd have to say that Frankston, even though they are behind, have been very impressive in this first quarter. I think a 3 or 4 goal breeze at this stage. Port Melbourne leading 5-6, 36 to Frankston 3-1, 19, but really not enough of a lead considering the win behind them. Saru has been a great player for Frankston. I think that young Robert Taylor's really got to get his mind back on the job. He's trying to be too physical with Saru and it's not working. So he's got to get his mind back on the job and try and give those little players around the packs for Port Melbourne a bit more assistance in that regard. The Frankston players are taking too many marks. This is going to be the danger in the next quarter, that the Port Melbourne players will really have to watch their high marking supremacy of Frankston, try and get it to the ground and be far more productive with the use of the ball. At this stage, though, Frankston more impressive. It really will be a good quarter, though.
All right, we'll have the statistics coming up in a moment, but on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, Port Melbourne are 5-6, 36, and Frankston 3-1, a total of 19.
To help show you what the amazing new Wartime Cleaner can do, we've invited an old friend round. Thanks, Bill. That's a torture test for any cleaner. Broken glass, dirt, grit, even cotton waste that clings to anything. Now watch the amazing electronic Wartime go to work. This Wartime actually thinks for itself. automatically adjusting the suction to meet the cleaning need. See how quickly the carpet is restored like new and damaging grit and glass removed. Whir Time is European quality through and through, like the crush-proof 360-degree rotating hose and chrome steel wands. From powerful suction to delicate dusting, cleaning should always be this easy. Right now, Godfrey's special offer on new Whir Time includes a guaranteed $50 trade-in, even more for later working models. So call into Godfrey's for a free demonstration at 380 Hawthorne Road, Caulfield South, or the Godfrey store near you. And remember, cleanliness is next to Godfreyness.
Oh, Jaffers!
Well, hi-ho, Silver! It's Jaffers time!
Jaffers ain't flat, they're not even square.
Whoa, Jaffers! They're chocolatey balls with orange coating!
Roll around your mouth and keep on floating.
Shake those Jaffers round your big long tongue. Making it sound like clunk, clunk, So flippity-flip and hippity-hop. Roll your body down to a Jaffer shot, 'cause life's a ball with Jaffers, yeah. Life's a ball with Jaffers, yeah. Life's a ball.
No. They got a bigger, deeper pan.
No problem, Pop.
No. Pizza Hut got cheese on top and cheese on the bottom.
And more of what you like in between, hey, Papa?
Ta-da! Look at the handle.
There is only one Pizza Hut deep pan pizza, but you can order it in over 1,000 ways.
I can't hear you in the earpiece. I can't pick you up. All right, I'm back here at the ground. The scores are 5-6 Port Melbourne to Frankston's 3-1. Ian, what about the statistics on the game to quarter time?
Well, first of all, let's have a look at the goal kickers. And for Port Melbourne, we have Swan with 2, 1 each to Hicks, Bailey and McDonald. And for Frankston, 1 each to O'Reilly, Painter and O'Brien. Kick-getters for Frankston, Moore with 4, Bell 6, Saru 6, not only rucking well but playing well around the ground, and O'Reilly with 3. For Port Melbourne, Metcalf 8, Ross 6, Mutimer 5, and Crutchfield defending well with 5 kicks. So far as team statistics are concerned, we have possessions 60 to Frankston, 70 Port Melbourne. They're made up of 39 kicks for Frankston, 53 for Port Melbourne. Handballs at 21 Frankston, 17 Port Melbourne. Free kicks 8 Frankston, 7 Port Melbourne. And marks, Port Melbourne significantly stronger in the air with 20 marks, with Frankston 12.
Well, all coaches are interested in statistics, Gary, and you as a former coach of Port Melbourne, how do you read those statistics?
Well, it's a bit deceptive because even though Port Melbourne have more marks, most of them, Port's marks have been chest marks and most of Frankston's have been in the air. So that's going to be a telling factor in this quarter where Frankston do have the wind, and it's up to Port, as I said before, to try and bring that ball to the ground. Otherwise, they're in real trouble at half-time.
Eddie, you've had a good look at both sides and you've been following them over the last few months. Do you still think that Frankston will be the victors?
Well, it's the complexion's changed a little bit there. Of course, the last time when Frankston did beat Port Melbourne, the full forward McCarty was a dominant player, kicking 11 goals. But on this occasion, Cooper has been beaten him pointless so far, and that could be a telling factor. Saru doing very well in the ruck. He is giving his Rovers first chance at the ball. And as Gary said, some of the other players like Mutimer and Hicks are getting out on their own for Port Melbourne. I still think Frankston could come home with this win in this quarter. I think we're going to have a really good, tough quarter.
All right, Tony Banks is down on the field now, so let's take you down to Tony to hear what the coaches have to say. Tony?
Well, I've been listening to Peter Chisnell only a couple of minutes ago, and he's got individual tasks for all these players. And at this stage, he's pretty happy with them. He's got the big man Taylor keeping a good eye on Jeff Saru. Keep working on him this quarter. A couple of other players too that he's given special instructions to, and they're doing the job well. Kendall, he reminded the players of their training tactics during the week. They didn't, obviously, Frankston, that quarter, use the right wings, kick out the right time to the right area. He was a little bit upset about a couple of things like that, but he then talked about their tactics in this quarter to use the wind properly and to their benefit. Back to you, Phil.
OK, thank you very much, Tony. And just repeating, we have Port Melbourne on 5-6, 36 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Frankston 3-1, 19.
You know, Charlie, no one can make nuggets like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know that, Frederick.
Tender, bite-sized pieces of chicken cooked golden like the Colonel's special way.
I know that, Frederick.
After all, Kentucky Fried Chicken only do chicken. That's why their nuggets taste so good.
I know that, but what about the herbs and spices?
I thought you liked the way they were cooked.
I do.
Well, make up your mind, Charlie.
I have.
Well?
I like everything about Kentucky Nuggets.
Kentucky Nuggets from Kentucky Fried Chicken, made special to taste great.
Introducing Microbuff's personal computer package Buy of the Year. The amazing PC Pro. The IBM compatible with a very compatible price tag. But just look what Microbuff's all-up price includes. Printer port, time clock, 640Ks of memory, twin 360 disk drives, green screen monitor, plus 12 months warranty. Microbuff. Call it the PC package of the year. You call it the best reason ever to buy a computer. See it now at Microbuff.
Herbal C. A very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors. This Herbal C has a strong soothing action of eucalyptus and menthol and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C, while this Herbal C has a gentle soothing action of honey and lemon and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C. You might get stuck with a sore throat this winter, but at least you won't get stuck with the same ordinary flavors. Herbal C. A very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors.
Peter Chisnell, 5-6 with the breeze. Were you happy with that?
Not quite, Tony. I thought we could have scored a couple more there, but I was happy with their endeavour first up. So, you know, I'm very pleased with the way it's going so far. We've just got to keep their small players out of business now. We'll get the ball running and we should be right.
That your players are doing the things that you instructed them to do? You've got specific tasks for some of them, haven't you?
Yes, we have, and they're carrying out their task well at this stage. So just keep our fingers crossed.
Thanks, Pete.
Righto, and we saw a minor score then, as we have Cooper taking the kick-off for Port Melbourne towards the half-back line, and taking the mark there was Hoy. Hoy of Port Melbourne against his opposite number, 21, in Whitfield. Had a little bit of a struggle as he plays it around the wing. The wind blowing it towards the boundary line. Oh, great mark. Got very high then to pull it in for Port Melbourne, Michael Bailey. So Bailey now will gradually try and penetrate this defence of the Frankston side. Up it comes towards the half-forward line, and Beaton is the player to race away with it. Beaton of Frankston to the half-forward line. Up they go, pushed down into the hands of Whitfield. Whitfield of Frankston to centre half-forward. Bell, it looks like having a battle down there. Is it Bell or O'Reilly? O'Reilly, but eventually Port Melbourne clearing towards the wing on the stand side of the ground. Here's Bell now. Got his hands to the ball, and the umpire has awarded the mark.
Bell with the kick. He's got Leeds coming to centre half forward. Drives down, looking for McCarty. And he's taken the mark. Play on, says the umpire. Cooper picks up. The boundary umpire says that it was just over the line, and there'll be a throw in on the midway between the half forward flank and the forward pocket for Frankston. Crutchfield with the tap. Coming through there was O'Brien. Couldn't pick up the ball. Finally comes out to Beaton. And his snap is just offline and through for one behind. McCarty and Cooper having a great tussle up at full forward. Cooper, the former Collingwood fullback, of course, is having the better of the clash. McCarty yet to get a kick. Cooper with Leeds being called for at centre half forward from Taylor. Comes in, drives the ball up to the half forward flank position. Punched away from Ross. He goes in on top of the ball. The umpire will come in and bounce. Port Melbourne 5-6-36, lead Frankston 3-3-21. We've been playing 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, just gone 3 minutes into this second quarter. Once again a stack up on the outer side there. The umpire comes in and has given a free kick to Brendan Mutimer. Play very scrappy at the moment. Neither team is willing to let anyone get a flow on as Mutimer drives up towards the wing position. Geddes flies high, gets under the ball. Solid bump from O'Brien. The umpire gives a free kick. Mornay will take the kick. Comes in towards the centre half forward position. Bardole tried to punch it away, coming through as Ross. He's met by Raven, who dives on top of the ball. Good defensive play. Tries to get the handball out. Hicks comes through, paddles it in front of him. Picked up by Harkins. Harkins to Doherty. Doherty onto the left foot. The snap is offline and will bounce just over the line and out of bounds in the forward pocket.
Again, we've got this instance of players kicking hurriedly for goal, Gary.
Yes, he's going to have to improve his kicking, Mick Doherty. He's had a couple of shots at goal and not been very successful today.
All right, comes out towards the half-back line, and this is Dunbar, progressing it towards the centre of the ground. A pack of players to win under the ball, including Allender, but the mark has been taken by the big fellow for Frankston in Moore. Moore up towards the centre half forward, players moving in, a kick up towards the forward zone, over the line and out of bounds by Crutchfield. Well, now, down on the forward line at the bay end of the ground. And that's the forward line for Frankston in the second quarter. Push towards the boundary line. Coming out here is Mutimer. Mutimer to the half-back line. Going in for it is Hicks. He failed to take the mark, and a kick towards goals, this time by Raven, the blonde-headed player, and a mark in defence for Port Melbourne by Cooper. Cooper's playing a very solid game at full-back. He's had 3 marks, 3 kicks. Saru came in, marked the ball, passed it out here immediately to Dunbar. Dunbar towards the centre forward zone. A pack of players rise high. Nobody able to take the mark. We'll have progressive scores soon from other grounds for you. As it goes to the half-back line on the outer side of the ground, Painter is the player going in after it. He goes for the long kick downfield. It'll be off-line and over the line and out of bounds for a free kick out on the full. Now the player going back to take the kick is Hoy of Port Melbourne. Hoy from the right back pocket plays it around the stand wing position. A lot of niggling play going on. Arthur Bell gains possession, being tackled by Swan of Port Melbourne and forces it over the line. On the Mitsubishi scoreboard we have Port Melbourne 5-6-36 and Frankston 3-3-21. Players shading their eyes a lot too as the ball gets down towards the bay end of the ground. There's free kick being awarded here, and it will be taken by Taylor of Port Melbourne. So Taylor now from the half-back line plays it in front of the Dolphin stand. A good punch away by Geddes out towards the wing on the stand side of the ground, where we see Moore go for his kick up towards the left forward pocket. Doesn't quite get there and goes over the line and out of bounds on the half-forward flank.
Port Melbourne lead by 15 points. Been playing 5 minutes now. Throw in. Saru gets the tap. O'Brien pedals it in front of him. Going through hard there was Allender. Allender with good play gets the handball out to Mutimer. He's caught without the ball. Play on, says the umpire. Comes up towards the half-forward flank position. Going through hard there was Mornay for Port Melbourne, but finally comes out to Geddes. Geddes with the hand pass finds a Moore, and Moore bursts through the half-back line. Kicks forward and finds Kelvin Moore, who's having a field day at centre-half forward. Tries to balk around Taylor on that occasion, but he was caught holding the ball. And, oh no, the umpire has said around the neck. Gary Bryce, what did you think of that decision?
It was a disgraceful decision from my point of view. From what I saw, Moore tried to play on and got caught. Should have paid the penalty.
Taylor appeared to apply the perfect tackle. Brian Jones comes on for Frankston as the ball goes up towards the full forward position. The umpire has picked out a free kick on this occasion. It'll go to Crutchfield, and that could be the payback from the previous decision. Crutchfield at full-back. His 8th kick. Quickly plays on, gets the handball over to Metcalf. Metcalf tries to run round. He's been trying to balk people all day. Swings onto the left foot, his only leg. Kicks up towards the wing position. Geddes from behind takes a fine mark. Handballs to Bell. Bell goes without it. Lovely play by Hicks, but it's intercepted there by O'Brien. O'Brien with the little left foot kick in towards Dunbar. Dunbar knocks it off the ground. Picked up by Carter. Comes up to Hicks. Hicks kicks wide up towards the wide open spaces now. And it's taken there by Mornay. Mornay straight away plays on, and his chip pass finds Bailey, who would be 45 metres out from goal, but kicking into a stiff headwind. Bailey, who has kicked 1 goal so far, 1 out of Port Melbourne's 5 goals. He's taken his time, he's backing himself in here. 45 metres out from goal, and this kicking into the wind will give Port Melbourne a handy break. We've been playing now for 8 minutes as Bailey comes in. The drop punt, wobbly off the boot. It's going to drop short off the hands of the pack. Mutimer tried to get the ball over the line, but it's touched over by Bell or one behind.
Righto, Bell now with the kick-off towards Bardole. Bardole in the pocket, takes the mark. will look for the lead near the centre of the ground. Players out there waiting for it, but he's gone for the short pass. And these two keep combining well, Raven and Bodell. Dole. There's the kick from Raven in towards the centre. Beaton comes in to take it, just short of the centre. Starting to get a bit of system in their play from the back line, Frankston, as it goes wide of the centre of the ground. And the player out there is Painter. Painter with a further hand pass to Amor. And Amor moving down the ground, left foots it straight towards the goals, but it's offline and through for the one behind. So that takes Frankston on to 3-4. They needed a goal there with Port Melbourne on 5-7. Frankston don't look quite as good in this quarter, Gary.
No, I think Port Melbourne are doing exactly what Frankston did. They're really desperate on that back line and they're not giving an inch. But unfortunately, a couple of times Frankston were free. They haven't converted.
Righto, now Cooper about to take the kick-off, and let's have a look at the scores from other grounds. Brunswick 21, trailing Coburg 34. As we have the kick-off, come to the half-back line on the outer side of the ground. Pass out here, comes out in the direction of Saru. Saru with a long kick towards the centre-forward zone. Cooper, but the umpire doesn't pay it, as it's a kick this time by the player just on the ground, Jones, and he's put it through for another minor score. Well, they're doing what Port Melbourne did in the first quarter. They move on to 23 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Frankston, that's 3-5 to Port Melbourne's 5-7, a total of 37. So Cooper swings the play in towards centre half back, and the mark has been taken by Crutchfield of Port Melbourne. Immediately it goes wide of the centre of the ground. No one able to come into it. Bell is the player scouting around the pack, but that was Metcalf. Metcalf now with his kick across here towards the centre of the ground. Down goes... that was from Doherty to Metcalf, and it was Metcalf who came down to the ground. So Metcalf left foots it up towards the half-forward line. There's a staged free there, but a pass from McDonald straight across here to Hicks. Hicks shoots the goal, and he's put it through for another one to Port Melbourne, taking them to 6-7.
We're gonna work together and love together, gonna make this garden grow.
But me, I'm working up an appetite. I'm gonna have to go. I'll shout there McDonald's, I'll be right back with some juicy quarter pounders and a great Big Mac.
It's a good time for the great taste. Lunchtime! Good time for the great taste. It's a good time for the great taste.
Great
Of
idea.
McDonald's.
Righto, and again we see Port Melbourne coming into attack after they bounce the ball, and there you have the scores towards the half-forward line. The umpire blowing the whistle. Has been a free kick awarded down here. Getting up off the ground is Brown of Frankston, and he'll take the free. So Brown from the half-back line indicating he'll swing the play towards centre half-forward. Players come in under the ball. The player there for Port Melbourne was Taylor. He couldn't take the mark. Going in after it for Port was Hoy. He couldn't get... yes, he's got it. He plays it towards the centre half-forward. Look at the number of players go up there. Is moving in as Raven. Hand pass comes out here towards Zarnecki. Zarnecki now from the half-back line goes for the long kick downfield towards the half-forward line. Look at them go up in the air, and the mark has been taken for Port Melbourne by Hoy. So Hoy from that defensive zone for the Boroughs. He gets his kick in around the outer wing position. Up goes Geddes, juggled the mark, and the umpire will pay it. So Geddes from the centre wing position, outer side of the ground, gets the lead at centre half forward from Moore. Calvin Moore has it punched away from him, has the chance to come back in on it again, eventually gets the kick high in the air towards the right forward pocket, and there'll be a mark taken down here and a free. We've got a nice old smack. There's a little bit of a schmozzle going on at centre half forward, but Jones got a whack to go on with too. I thought the umpire might have applied a penalty there, Eddie.
Yes, and I think Taylor was reported there for allegedly striking Saru at the centre half forward position behind play, just off camera. And the crowd getting very vocal here at the moment. Saru, as we said earlier, Saru and Taylor have been having a go all day, and I think a lot of niggle coming back in there.
All right, now we're just waiting on Jones to take this kick. Yes, he copped one, as we were calling it, but there was another little bit of a fracas going on at centre half forward, which is a part and parcel of VFA football, I suppose, as Jones gets ready to come in from the half forward line. Goes for the long kick. It's not a bad roost either, but it'll be offline and forced through for one behind, forced through by Hoy. So that now takes Frankston on to 3-6-24. And Port Melbourne is 6-7, a total of 43.
And that's 5 straight points for Frankston so far this quarter. Port Melbourne, 1 goal, 1.
Port Melbourne player being booed as he comes off the ground there too, Taylor.
Yes, a bit unusual, that booing him after he's hit Saru, the Frankston fans. Up towards the wing position, Geddes a fine mark. Starting to come into his own now as he gets the handball across to Bell. Bell onto the left foot, kicks forward. Kelvin Moore flies high, but he can't take the mark. Play on, says the umpire. Swan applies the tackle. Good play there as Ross comes out of defence. Ross with the chip over towards Metcalf. Can't take the ball. Coming through solid. The umpire has found a free kick there, and Doherty will take the free kick. Doherty has been a busy player around the ground today so far. It's his 7th kick. Only his kicking a goal has let him down so far. Plays on, tries to run around to Moore. Kicks up towards the half-forward flank. Up high there for Port Melbourne was Mornay. Mornay chips in towards the full-forward zone, and Hicks takes the diving mark on his chest. Hicks and Raven have had a good battle today so far, probably even at the moment. Hicks starting to get away on his own. He's kicked 2 goals so far, and he'll line up from about 35 to 40 metres out from goal directly in front. The drop punt on its way, taken offline and through for 1 behind. That moves Port Melbourne score now to 6-8-44. They they lead Frankston rather 3-6-24. Bell with the kick out. Kicks out towards the members side flank. Saru in front, gets pushed in the back. Play on, says the umpire, as Hicks tries to pick the ball up, having trouble doing so. Finally gets the chip across towards Allender. Ball bounces awkwardly. Raven bursts through, has a bounce. He's got plenty of time to look upfield. Chips in towards the centre of the ground. O'Brien bursting through, has a run, can get the handball. No, he chips over to McCarty, and McCarty marks. Could have played on there. McCarty, the champion full forward for Frankston, has kicked 92 goals so far for the season, and we've been playing 15 minutes into the second quarter, and McCarty will line up with his first kick of the game. It's 40 metres out, directly in front. Relaxes into it and puts it straight through the centre. His first and Frankston's 4th for the game.
Here comes Boxcar Willie's all-new album with another 20 great songs.
Well, the big eight-wheeler rolling down the track means your true loving daddy ain't a-coming back. I'm a-moving on.
Sioux City Sue.
City Sue.
Moving on.
Sioux City Sue.
Jambalaya.
Yeah, Jambalaya.
Rock Island Line. The Golden Rocket. And more. 20 all-time favorites. Boxcar Willie.
These have been some of my very favorite songs, and I hope that you love them too.
16.5 minutes into the second term. Umpire blowing the whistle on the bounce of the ball, and the free kick will be taken by Mutimer of Port Melbourne. Well, Frankston hanging in there at the present time as Mutimer's kick goes just short of centre-half forward. No one able to get away with the ball. Nearly a free kick to be given to Bailey. Bailey, though, couldn't gain possession. Taken away here by Doherty. Doherty out towards the right forward pocket. And the umpire blowing the whistle and awarding the mark. It looks like McDonald under them there. He's the player to get up and walk back. And McDonald's kicked 1 so far. And this will further increase Port's score if he can put it through for full points, because on the Mitsubishi scoreboard they're 6-8-44. This would take them to 50, 20 points up on Frankston's 4-6-30. There he comes. On its way at the Young Street end, and full points on the board. 20 points the difference in Port's favour.
Lovely strawberries. They're gone.
That's right, Betty. Gone to Cotties. You see, Cotties have lots more whole strawberries in their strawberry jam to give it a fruitier taste.
Marvellous. You know, I really came by to borrow some strawberries. Oh, Betty, do you still make your own jam? Not anymore, dear.
Cottage jams with more whole fruit taste even fruitier.
Now, just repeating the scores, Frankston 4-6-30, trailing Port Melbourne 7-8-50. How do you read the game, Gary Bryce?
Well, I think Port Melbourne have certainly lifted their game. They're playing very well into the wind. I don't think the Frankston players are really using the ball exactly as Port were doing the first quarter. Rather than pinpointing the ball, they're just blasting it long, hoping that their forwards will mark.
And I think Cooper is one of the real strengths of Port Melbourne on their back line.
He's certainly cut McCarty right out of the game, and he's been shifted to a half-forward flank, and their back line is playing very well. Ross is another good player.
All right, now we're just waiting for the ball to be returned here. And we'll see Port Melbourne getting it out of defence, going across here in the direction of Jennings. Jennings of Port from the half-back line, around the wing on the outer side of the ground. Up they go, and nearly a mark to be taken here for Port Melbourne, but eventually taken away by Metcalf. Metcalf in towards the centre, and there's the big fellow Saru, who's been in a lot of the play. Hand passes back downfield, and that was a solid old bump taken by a Moore towards the half-forward line. The umpire missed it, says there's a push in the back down here, and there'll be a free kick awarded to Cooper of Port Melbourne. Cooper now just getting ready to take this kick from the half-back line. Plays it on the stand side of the ground. And O'Brien juggling in one hand and bringing it down to take the mark for Frankston. Not a bad mark by this little fellow as we see it in replay. So now the opportunity for Frankston to get into attack up towards the centre half-forward zone. And a good mark taken there by McCarty. Long way out from goal, McCarty, as he prepares to take the kick towards the bay end.
McCarty, who's been shifted out to the half-forward flank away from full forward. This time his kick slews off the side of his boot and through for one behind. McCarty's had 2 kicks for 1 goal, 1. Cooper was doing such a fine job that Coach Kendall has had to put him out to the half-forward flank for him to try and get a kick. Cooper with the kick out finds Jennings. Jennings straight away drives up towards the half-forward flank. Raven coming over the top, pushes his opponent in the back. Play on, says the umpire. McCarty diving, takes the mark on his chest. And the move from Kendall now could be paying off with McCarty getting into the play. He's only 35 metres out from goal at about a 45-degree angle. And if his kicking is up to his normal standard, should have no trouble putting it through. Drop punt on its way. Umpire hasn't moved. He's done so. And Frankston now moved for 5-7 to Port's 7-8.
Everyone needs softness, needs a little care. Whenever you need softness, Kleenex tissues will be there. Whenever you need softness, Kleenex tissues will be there. Put some Kleenex tissue softness in your life.
In comes Bell now, and Bell with the players over the top of him, couldn't break away. A hand pass by Hutchinson out wide, and then the kick up towards the centre half-forward position. Cooper in the middle of the pack, crowd roar as a kick then from Jones sees the ball go towards the left forward pocket position, but beats the players over the line and out of bounds. The player coming in late there was Ross, Neil Ross of Port Melbourne. O'Brien has been firing for the Frankston side in the last 15 minutes as it comes back into play, and eventually taken away here for Port Melbourne by Jennings. Jennings out towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. Metcalf comes into it, but it beats him over the line. Not a bad crowd here either. When you look at the crowd out there in the stand and the crowd here on the outer side of the ground, really good for VFA football.
Saru with the tap. Zarnicki leads the way for Frankston. They all fall over. Swan goes in hard. Raven picks it up for Frankston. He's tackled, dropping the ball, and the Port Melbourne captain, Bill Swan, will take the free kick.
You mentioned O'Brien earlier. He's had 6 kicks so far in the game, 5 of which have all come from the second quarter.
Yes, as Gary Bryce was saying earlier on, he's become a very dominant player, feeding McCarty up at the forward line as well, as Swan kicks up towards the half-forward flank. Bit of a wrestle going on there. Geddes was held, and will take the free kick. Ball comes wide. Frankston into attack now. Painter takes the mark, plays on straight away onto the left foot, kicks down towards the full forward zone, but Cooper diving forward takes a splendid mark. Probably one of Port Melbourne's best players so far. He's beaten O'Reilly and McCarty so far. And they're getting into it a bit now with Jones fighting with Cooper there. He's given away a 15-metre penalty. Hand passes straight away. Goes over to Carter. Carter's chip kick up towards the wing position. Ellender under the ball. Takes it well. Handball's inboard. Crutchfield with the long kick up towards the full forward line. Up high from behind for Frankston was Whitfield. Bell dives forward, can't take the mark. Metcalf tries to pick it up for Port Melbourne. The ball goes over the line. There'll be a throw in about 50 metres around from the Port Melbourne goal. Geddes will do battle in the ruck. Gets the punch. Comes down to Doherty. Doherty breaks the tackle, gets it across to Swan. Swan hit after he kicked the ball. The high one, punched away by the Frankston defence. Zarnecki overruns the ball. Going in now was Beaton. Beaton across to Hutchison. Hutchison on the left foot, kicks out wide towards Painter and Moore. Moore punches it away. First to recover is Mick Hoy for Port Melbourne. He pushes the ball in front of him. Play on, says the umpires. It comes out to Painter. Painter swings onto the left foot. It's a natural left foot kick. Kicks it high up towards full forward. Jones is under the ball. It's off hands and over the line and out of bounds. And it'll be a throw-in the forward pocket for the Frankston side. An ordinary kick there by Painter, who's a natural left footer. Kicked it far too high for his forwards to have any chance. In the hands of the trainer there is Mick Hoy. Was flattened in that last pack. As Bardol snaps out of the pack, through for one behind. Bardol, who earlier, of course, was playing at full back, has been moved up into the forward line. Had a chance there out of the ruck, but could only manage a point as Cooper chips forward and finds Dermott. Greg Dermott, the deputy vice-captain of the Port Melbourne side, taking his time with the kick. Kicks up towards the half-forward flank where Allender's there, but Saru's too strong, and he takes a fine grab. Saru's long kick forward up towards the full forwards line. Cooper punches it away. Picked up well there by Hoy. Mutimer kicks wide across the face of goals. Ross leads the race for the ball. Has Hicks loose up forward, but decides to go long. Ball's held up in the breeze, and the mark taken there for Frankston by Moore. Moore kicks up towards the centre-half forward position. Kelvin Moore will fly from behind. Moore and McCarty fight each other. Comes down to Mutimer. Mutimer's left foot kick up towards the wing position. And once more, Moore takes the mark. He plays on straight away. The umpire's whistle's blowing. And there's been a free kick. It'll go to Hicks. And Gary Bryce, did you see what that was for?
Yes, Hicks was shepherded out there when Moore was going for the ball, so the umpire had no hesitation in giving that free kick.
Hicks drives up towards the centre-half forward position. Flying high was Geddes. He intercepted Saru's mark. Play on, says the umpire. Geddes does some great work on the ground. Comes down to Moore. Moore's left foot kick up towards the centre-half forward position. Tapped down towards Painter by Moore. But bursting through again is Carter. Carter's long kick up towards full forward. Taking the mark in defence is Brown. Brown kicks wide to the outer side. Mark taken there by Beaton. Beaton coming into the play now.
And we just saw some scores going through from other matches, and very interesting they are too, Eddie, as we have the ball go into the centre, taken away by Hutchinson. Hutchinson now from that half-forward line, just wide of centre half-forward, and the mark has been taken down here by Jones of Frankston. Some of the second division scores coming up while we await Jones to go back and take the kick. Mordialloc 9 points to Caulfield's 35. As this player lining up the goals, an important one for Frankston. They're 5-8 at the moment to Port Melbourne 7-8. 38-50. Well on its way, and the umpire stands there, so it puts them within one goal. They move to 6 goals, 8. Port are 7-8.
No. They got a bigger, deeper path.
No problem, Pop.
No. Pizza Hut got cheese on top and cheese on the bottom.
And more of what you like in between, hey, Papa?
Ta-da! Look at the handle.
There is only one Pizza Hut deep pan pizza, but you can order it in over 1,000 ways.
Well, we'll see the bounce of the ball again. The pack came over the top of it. You just made an interesting comment off Arian.
Frankston certainly is strong up forward, but they're squandering opportunities. They've had 10 scoring shots in the second quarter, and the result, 3-7.
All right, and now we have Bell going down to the ground over the top of the ball, and the umpire says he got it a bit high, and he'll get the free kick from the half-back line. He's not wasting any time either. Up towards the half-forward line. Out comes Moore, but the umpire blowing the whistle as the ball was kicked further afield. Interference behind the play, and Moore gets the free kick. He's kept it nice and low to put it up towards the forward zone, and the mark has been taken by Bardol. Bardol wide of centre-half forward. Now, with the strong breeze behind him, has every opportunity of scoring. If he can get the full points on the board, scores will be dead level. He'll get the distance all right, and it's through for full points. Scores level on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, both sides on 7-8.
Right now, you probably think you're looking at nothing. But nothing could be further from the truth. You see, this is really a bubble of nothing. And when bubbles of nothing are mixed with creamy milk chocolate to make aero, well, nothing tastes so delicious. Nothing tastes so melt in the mouth. In fact, nothing tastes anything quite like it. It's really something. Aero. It's the bubbles of nothing that make it really something.
Play has been in progress, 29.5 minutes. And coming up towards half-time as Allender gets the knockout from the ruck. It comes down here towards Harkins. Harkins now loses possession, taken away here by Raven. Raven up towards the forward zone, moving in after it is Carter, but it's beating Carter over the line and out of bounds. Both sides on 50 points each on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. And I just said to Gary Bryce while that last break was on, it'll be a very interesting game before the final siren goes today. Can't see at this stage, Gary, either side getting a break the way they play.
No, both back lines have fought very well, and I think both sides have squandered many opportunities on the forward line with poor kicking to their forwards.
And that means now that we have Frankston hitting the front. They just scored, the minor score takes them on to 7-8 as against Port Melbourne's 7-9 rather. Frankston is against Port Melbourne, 7 goals 8. I think the fellow on the scoreboard out there's gone to sleep. They haven't changed it as yet, but it was a minor score. Cooper takes the kick off towards the half-back line, and there's Allender waiting for it, and Allender taking the mark on the left half-back. Tony Banks now. Tony?
I just learned that Taylor could have got on the ground in the last couple of minutes, but it appears that Peter Chisnell's decided to keep him off until after the half-time break.
Righto, Tony. Eddie Maguire.
Fine mark taken there by Bardol, but the umpire has picked out a free kick and will go to Dermott. Greg Dermott, the deputy vice-captain, kicks towards centre-half forward position, and the mark taken there by Harkins. Harkins kicks wide to Crutchfield. He's got a paddock in front of him now, but the siren beats him. And at half-time, Frankston 7-9-51, lead by a solitary behind to Port Melbourne 7-8-50.
All right, now let's take it down to Tony Banks.
Well, we're just looking for Graham Kendall, but he's headed inside.
He's right behind you, Tony.
To look up the players. No, he's not. He's back out here. Let's go.
There's Tony Banks going in the wrong direction again. Righto, back to you, Tony.
Graham, you must be happy at this stage. Half-time, 1 point up.
Look, it was great to get back to 1 point up, particularly the position that we're in at halfway through the quarter. So the guys showed a lot of spirit and a lot of heart to get themselves back into the game. And, yeah, this is a critical quarter, the third quarter, of course.
The turning point was Jeff Saru dominating the last 15, 20 minutes with Taylor off.
Look, Jeff Saru, what Taylor's done to Saru and the way that he's handled it and the way that he's played the game, I mean, it's just showed the true professionalism. The guy, he was magnificent.
Okay, well done. What are you going to say to the players at half-time?
It's only a matter of keeping it at, at what we're at. We've just started to get our game going in the last sort of 15 minutes of the quarter, so that's good. I think we can really go on with it from here.
Good luck. Thanks, Graham. Graham
Right.
Kendall.
Gee, hearing Josh Kendall then bring back a few memories to you, Gary.
Yes, I don't know whether I'd be particularly happy with either side. I'd be stressing the fact that neither side really used the ball particularly well when they had the win.
All right, and we'll have a full summary from Gary Bryce in a moment. Frankston 7-9-51, Port Melbourne 7-8-50.
Mitsubishi announces the conquest of inner space. This is the Mitsubishi Magna. How's this for inner space? More shoulder room than Holden Commodore. More leg room than Ford Telstar. More headroom than just about anybody. In fact, plenty of room all round for 5 hefty adults and their luggage.
Magna, a totally new class of car from Mitsubishi. Car Maker of the Year again.
We're gonna work together and love together, gonna make this garden grow. But me, I'm working up an appetite. I'm gonna have to go. I'll shout there McDonald's, I'll be right back with some juicy quarter pound.
great taste. Lunchtime. Good time for the great taste. It's a good time for the great taste.
Great idea.
Of McDonald's.
Aspro Clear is a most advanced form of pain-relieving aspirin. Aspro Clear is totally soluble, and so is rapidly absorbed to work quickly and effectively. To help relieve headache, to help reduce fever, to help relieve body aches and pains. Use only as directed, and if pain persists, see your doctor. Every day, more and more Australians place their trust in Aspro Clear. Aspro Clear, totally soluble and works fast.
Tonight on Star Search.
Don't they say just what they mean? All I want is a little gratification. Out of control, side of the light. Baby, you give good love.
Jono says that Ando's love bites are all self-inflicted.
Peter DePano joins Greg Evans for Star Search, presented by Kleenex VIP Nappies, 6:30 tonight on 10.
Yeah, when you press your button, I can hear you. Okay, and back here we have the Little League going on at the present time. This game to be played in a competition for local under-10 sides. The boys are playing for a trophy called the Dolphin Cup. This game doesn't decide the cup. The final will be played on August the 21st, or the 24th, that is. The two sides playing are the Dolphins Juniors. They're the same colours as their senior counterparts. And the P&C, that's the Police and Citizens, and they have the colours of blue and yellow. So we'll be showing you a little bit of this on the way through, but right now we'll go over to Gary Bryce with only 1 point the difference. Frankston 7-9-51, Port Melbourne 7-8-50. Gary, how do you see it to half-time?
Well, I think the scores are an exact indication of just how close this game is. We've mentioned many times the fact that each side, when they've had the wind, haven't used the ball particularly well. They've just blasted the ball down, hoping their forwards can do the job. And we've seen on both sides the forwards haven't been up to the task. McCarty had to be moved from Cooper, who was doing a magnificent job. The Port Melbourne forwards are very much the same. McDonald, he's only had a couple of chances and has scored 2 goals and doing reasonably well, but I'd be inclined to give him a try at centre-half forward, because I think Geddes is well on top there in that position at centre-half back for Frankston. Saru is also dominating the ruck, but even so, the Port Melbourne smaller players, I feel, are doing more. Swan's a great player in the centre. Newton is doing very well. And young Metcalf, although winning many possessions, his kicking certainly lets him down. And I think that the big man power of Frankston hasn't really taken over at this stage, and we must give credit to Port Melbourne for bringing the ball down and running it. Anybody's game at this stage, and I think we've seen a good game so far, but the best is yet to come.
Gary, neither side have taken advantage of the wind when they've had that. Now, if Port don't take advantage of the wind here in the third quarter, they're going to be in trouble.
They certainly are, and I mean, everyone mentions the third quarter as being the most important in football, and certainly will be today. If Port Melbourne can convert the opportunities that they will get, they'll win the game. But if Frankston can hold them, keep persevering and run that ball out of the back line, then they're in with a big chance. So this is going to be the most important quarter, the one coming up.
Why is it we're not seeing positive play and good position play?
Well, I think it's a very physical game. You've probably noticed a lot of backhanders being given out, and it's a very hard tackling game. There's been quite a few hard knocks handed out, and I think when that happens towards the game, as the game goes on, players become a bit more wary about it, try and get rid of the ball more quickly, and as a result, the kicking and handball is not quite as good as it should be.
All right, now you might like to comment a little further after Ian gives his statistics on the game for this stage, Ian.
Frankston squandered a lot of opportunities in that second quarter. They had a total of 12 shots per goal, only managing 4 goals, 8 with Port Melbourne 2-2. You can see there with possessions that it's a very even game, 130 Frankston, 128 Port Melbourne. Kicks, 96 Frankston, 104 Port Melbourne. Marks, 39 apiece. And you recall in that first quarter, Port Melbourne was significantly stronger in the air, so Frankston have turned the tables in the second quarter. Free kicks, 14 to Frankston, 17 to Port Melbourne. And handballs particularly interesting. Frankston 34, Port Melbourne 24, although only 7 of that 24 came in the second quarter. So far as goal kickers are concerned, for Port Melbourne, we have 2 each to Swan, Hicks and McDonald, 1 to Bailey. For Frankston, 2 to McCarty, both from that second quarter, 1 each to O'Reilly, Painter, O'Brien, Jones and Bardol. Kick getters for Port Melbourne, Crutchfield very strong in defence with 10 kicks. Cooper 4 kicks, 2 hand passes, a total of 6 possessions and doing particularly well at full back. Metcalf 12, Mutimer 10 and Swan dominating the centre with 7 kicks. For Frankston, their best would be Saru with 8 kicks, O'Brien 6 kicks, 5 of which came from that second quarter, Bell 10 and Raven 7.
Yeah, well, we've seen some of those goals being scored while you were going through the statistics. As you read those statistics, do they make you change your mind on any point you've given?
No, they don't. I think that you look at the total possessions and very, very close. But again, the marking, Jules, I think you've got to take into consideration the majority of Port marks have been taken on chest marks rather than the Frankston players have taken those big ones. And I think that's the worry for Port. Keep the ball on the ground, they've got a real chance.
OK, thank you very much, Gary Bryce, for the comments there. These are some of the highlights taking place. You see the marquees in the background here at Frankston. They've certainly done a wonderful job. And I tell you what, these young fellows are entertaining the crowd too. They're playing 2 7-minute halves down here at Frankston at the present time, and really entertaining. OK, let's go down now to Tony Banks, who'll be talking with the president of the VFA, Brooke Anderson.
Well, gentlemen, I know that your conditions up there are absolutely luxurious, but we've had to sort of come down here in the tent with a few of the people that are watching the game today, and there's a point the difference. Brooke Anderson, the VFA president, Trevor Barker, Darren Mullane. Remember Darren, he played a top game yesterday and kept Robert Flower at about 40 kicks, didn't you, Darren? Must have enjoyed that one.
Oh, it was a good game yesterday. He's a good player, Rob, isn't he?
Collingwood can come back, can they, from there?
Oh, yeah, certainly they'll be back this week. On Sunday.
Certainly wasn't your fault, sir. Trevor, you didn't pull up too well either.
No, unfortunately, Tony, I pulled the stomach muscles in the stomach, so a bit disappointing, especially getting so close to 200 games. Anyway, it was disappointing yesterday after a good win against Richmond, so I have to come up next week and do better.
You think it'd be right to come back next year and play in Brisbane? Captain of that team in Brisbane?
Who told you that? Just sitting here today, it's a bit like being in Brisbane, isn't it?
Yeah. Like it, yeah. Brooke, the national football competition, there's been a lot of talk about it, but if one does come up, I think the VFA are going to benefit from it, do you?
Oh, definitely, Tony. I think what will happen, of course, with the VFL come National League sides is they will carry only senior squads, and that means there's a lot of players that will gravitate back to VFA level and will become, I hope, the senior body in Victoria. So it looks very good for the VFA.
It would be great if you had players like Trevor Barker and Darren Mullane playing for you, wouldn't it?
Well, I might say, Tony, young Sean Mullane plays with the VFA third side. So Darren, of course, is from Dandenong, and his brother Sean is from Dandenong. Great to see them through the ranks and getting on.
Well, they both know that I was only kidding a minute ago about Darren. He's a top player. He played state football this year, and he did a good job. And Trevor Barker, well, everyone knows it. Let's go back to you, Phil, up in those luxurious surroundings you're in.
Oh, yeah. Having a look at Tony Banks. My gee, Gary, he knows how to get himself in the top echelon.
Tony get himself anywhere, wouldn't he?
We're just looking at these young fellows playing here for the Dolphins and also for the Police and Citizens. One thing I'm interested in, and I think a lot of people would be, the number of young lads playing in headgear.
Yes, that's a trend that's developed over the last 3 or 4 years, and I think it's an excellent idea. A lot of parents particularly are worried about the head injuries to children, and if they are, they should allow them to wear helmets. It certainly doesn't detract from the game at all. I think it's a good thing, and the more we can have these sort of games, I think the better for football.
They're very keen, and I think, you know, with a headgear like that, it gives the young fellow a lot more confidence to go in and after the ball.
It certainly does.
All right, the scores are reading. Frankston 51 to Port Melbourne's 50, and there's quarter by quarter.
For vacuum cleaners, service to get ready, get set, go Godfrey's.
Right now, Godfrey's are making a special offer to repair any make of cleaner for just $12.95 plus the cost of parts. That's right, any repair, $12.95 plus parts. Godfrey's have spare parts for all leading makes, and many repairs can even be done while you wait. That's right, any repair, $12.95 plus parts.
For vacuum cleaners, service to get ready, get set, go Godfrey's.
At Godfrey's, we check a lot of used cleaners, but only those that pass inspection get Godfrey's blue spot of approval. Our inspectors have been working overtime, so we've got hundreds to clear at just $19, $25 and $29. Electrolux, Hoover, GE and Sanyo. Out they go at $19, $25 and $29. But hurry, these blue spot specials mean fantastic savings at Godfrey's, Hawthorne Road, Caulfield South, Maroondah Highway, Ringwood and branches near you. And remember, cleanliness is next to Godfreyness.
Bonjour. May I present to you Belize de France, a superior range of creamy cheese spreads à la française. Many great flavors like smooth, creamy French onion, zucchini and cucumber. The bite of pepper. Smoked salmon, garlic and herb. Ah, quel fromage. What a cheese. Enjoy it every day. Délice de France. The one with Pierre on the pan.
Pay, new times to call STD at the cheapest rate. Read all about it.
Sorry, when is the cheapest time to call now, Beaver?
STD's now cheapest all day Sunday. And after 10 p.m. any day. The details at your telecom business office.
What are you doing Sunday, Beaver?
Same thing I'll be doing after 10 p.m. every night. Calling my friends long distance.
Well, just repeating the half-time scores here at Frankston on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Frankston a 7-9-51 and Port Melbourne 7 goals 8, a total of 50. We'll bring you half-time scores from all other matches just as soon as they come to hand. But just thinking back on the game here today, you had Port Melbourne in a very desperate position. They're out of the 4 on percentage. If they lose this game with 3 other teams on the same number of wins, it'll make it very, very difficult for them to make the finals. And I've always felt, ever since we've been associated with VFA football over the 21 years, that Port Melbourne are an essential ingredient of the VFA, particularly to get into the finals. Now, there you have the ladder. And it's surprising also, Gary Bryce, to see Sandringham in the position they're in.
Yes, they've certainly fallen out of favour this year. They were the dominant side last year and did deserve to win the grand final, but this year they're really struggling. They have lost quite a lot of good players. One young player has gone back to Hawthorn, has been an excellent player for them last year, Little Collins, and he was a great player, and I think they really miss him.
You've been associated, or were associated with the VFA for some time. Now that you've had time, more or less to sit back and have a look at it, what is your impression of the association?
Well, I think they're on the verge of really expanding and going ahead. The other competitions around the place, and we mentioned the VFL, they've got so much inner turmoil that they really don't know where they're going at present. And I think if the VFA can go on, and this year they've had a better year than they did last year, I think they'll just go on from strength to strength.
I suppose if you look at it in another way, that you've got now suburban people, community people looking for loyalty in football.
Well, I think that's always what football's been based on, and I think that's where the VFA have really scored a winner. They've looked after the people, they've made it a family game as much as possible, and I think if the national competition is brought into fruition, that people will start to come back to VFA because they really want to see the local people performing for them.
And I think those comments are being made, not being critical of the VFL or any other.
I think it's just football reality. It's not being critical of VFL at all, but I think people keep saying all the time that they want to follow their local side, and I think the VFA people certainly do that, and I think that the support will get even bigger.
Yeah, just looking around the crowd here today, it is a good crowd down here at Frankston, and as I say, Port Melbourne is a draw card, but these are the people following local football, and this is what football needs. Ian, you have some points there.
Yeah, it's been a very competitive year this year in VFA, and you saw that with regard to the ladder. If you have a look at the teams that have defeated Frankston so far this year, they're very similar to the teams that have defeated Port Melbourne. For example, Frankston have been defeated by Sandringham, Springvale, Preston and Coburg. Port Melbourne, they've been defeated by Sandringham, Coburg, Williams on both occasions that they've met this season, and of course Frankston in the first round. So certainly the final series will be a very competitive Port series.
Port Melbourne 7-9-51, or rather Frankston 7-9-51, Port Melbourne 7-8-50.
It's the most fun you're likely to have all week. And here's the lady who'll start the ball rolling, Tiffany Lamb.
I'm ready, set, and ready to go.
It's all aboard and man the laughter stations as the opposition takes a shot at wrecking the battleship. And the Victorian team ruffles a few feathers when it wins by a beak in the hilarious emu race.
Did you see those legs?
They're moving, weren't they? The mail must go through, but these posties are kept in the dark in Blind Postman. You'll love It's a Knockout, presented by Uncle Toby's, 7:30 tonight on Channel 10.
You know, Charlie, no one can make nuggets like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know that, Frederick.
Tender, bite-sized pieces of chicken cooked golden like the Colonel's special way.
I know that, Frederick.
After all, Kentucky Fried Chicken only do chicken. That's why their nuggets taste so good.
I know that, but what about the herbs and spices?
I thought you liked the way they were cooked.
I do.
Well, make up your mind, Charlie.
I have.
Well?
I like everything about Kentucky Nuggets.
Kentucky Nuggets from Kentucky Fried Chicken, made special to taste great.
Right, well, we have the kickers out on the ground. They're the ones kicking the ball around, which, again, helps for community football. It won't be long before we have both teams out. But now, looking at the play to this stage, there have been some changes made. There are a lot of changes made before the match even started today. But, Gary, would you make any changes, say, for instance, in the Port Melbourne side at this stage, to lift their play to get a little more system into it?
Well, I would think of changing their two key position players. McDonald, who I think has done well considering the opportunities that he's had there, and Bailey, who really has been beaten quite soundly by Geddes. I'd be tempted to give those two a bit of a change, and really I'd be asking the backline players to be more constructive with the use of the ball, because it's all right being critical of forwards, but if you don't give them a better than 50-50 chance of marking it, well, you're not going to win the game.
All right, and we're looking now at some of the other matches being played. Preston 66, leading Sandringham 49. And this match today in the Preston-Sandringham game is just as vital for Sandringham because they're out of the 4 on percentage only. So, and Preston need to win as well because they're all on 9 wins each. Preston, Williamstown, Port Melbourne, and Sandringham on the 8. So that shows how desperate they should be. Williamstown 63 are leading in their game as we have the umpires out onto the ground now, and it won't be long before play gets underway. Now, you mentioned the Port Melbourne changes that you would make. Let's look at the Frankston side. They have made one of the important changes, and that's bringing McCarty out onto the half-forward line.
Yes, that's certainly been a productive change. They've also moved Bardol out of full-back and put O'Reilly back there, and I think that paid dividends too because Bardol was able to take a couple of grabs down there. Whether they restructure it now that they're going into the wind again, it will really largely depend on what changes Port Melbourne make. But I think at this stage, I wouldn't be surprised if the coaches made no moves, because when you look at the scoreboard, 1 point difference, it's anybody's game still. And I guess it'll be up to this quarter is really going to be the teller.
Right, now we have the Port Melbourne side coming out onto the ground. Billy Swan leading them. Now, Billy did a couple of good things in the first quarter with the advantage of the wind. He came down from the centre and was able to score 2 goals within 5 minutes. He seems to be able to lift the side, but it's infrequent at this stage.
Yes, well, I think that Bill's had a very good year this year, and one of the main assets is he's such a beautiful kick, and I think they could look for him a lot more and give him more opportunities to scoot down and score goals, because he's a magnificent kick for goal.
Yes, he's had 7 kicks to this stage in the game, but only 2 of those in the second quarter. And the 5 that he had in the first quarter, 2 of them were very effective in gaining goals. Now, in this quarter, the third coming up, will have Port Melbourne kicking with the advantage of the wind, and that will be to the right of the screen down towards the bay end. But so far in the game, it hasn't appeared to have been all that much of an advantage. 7-9 to 7-8 in Frankston's favour on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, only 1 point the difference. So if Frankston can hold Port in this quarter, they should be successful coming into the final quarter with the advantage of the win. They seem to be playing with quite a bit of confidence. What I can't understand, Gary, I was talking with the officials, and I mentioned this earlier, that they've got 10 of their regular players out of the side. How will they be if they got the 10 back?
Well, it just shows that they have a great deal of depth. The only problem is that they could be a bit top-heavy against a very quick side. They do carry quite a few tall players, and I guess that's a criticism of Williamstown and Sandringham over years past, that they fall into the same trap too. And I think you've got to have a good blend of very quick, small players if you're going to have the number that they do, the number of tall marking players that they have. So that's one of the problems they're going to have to look at seriously if they're in the finals, and I assume Frankston will be there. Port Melbourne, on the other hand, really haven't got a lot of tall timber, and they rely on getting the ball to the ground and moving it quickly. And 2 contrasting styles of game.
Hasn't helped with Chadban being out, of course.
Well,
What's he,
that's
about 6'7" or something?
6.5, yes. He is a big loss to the Port Melbourne side.
All right, well, Tony Banks is ready for us down on the ground as the players are making their positions at the moment. So down to you, Tony.
OK, we got Peter Chisnell. Half-time talk. How'd you go, Pete?
Well, you know, we're back to a line ball, Tony, so we let a few things slip there, and I think that we've just got to start working hard again. We failed to break their half-back line that quarter, and it showed a lack of our height, but I think that, you know, the players have got plenty of running in their legs, so if we can work those smaller players a little bit more, I think we can get back into the game again.
Well, Taylor's back on, rearing to go. Forgotten about the report?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's forgotten about it, but it just goes to show how they can destroy a side when you lose a bloke like Taylor, you know. And he's one of the exciting players in the VFA, and I hope they, you know, I hope they look at him very closely, because he is a real dynamo.
He was certainly doing the job on Saru.
Doing a very good job, and people want to realise that's, or the umpires want to realise that these people come to see blokes like Taylor play. And I'm glad to see the TV cameras here today, in fact. People might get an idea on how badly performed some of them are.
OK, thanks very much, Peter Chisnell. Taylor's just about to go into the ruck with Saru, so we'll go back to the commentators.
Yes, and they won't start until you move off the ground there, Tony. By gee, Peter Chisnell speaks well, Gary.
He does, doesn't he? Most Port Melbourne coaches do.
Fine. OK. We're waiting on the bounce of the ball, and the field umpire is umpire Gleeson to come in for the bounce. The other umpire is umpire Marshall. That was Allender, all fired up here at this stage as they move in. Allender pushes the ball down. It comes through here towards Mutimer. Mutimer gets it downfield with a hand pass up in the direction of centre-half forward. Doherty is under the pack, but he'll come out. Went for the hand pass, decided against it, runs around two opponents with the bounce, and then the long hand pass downfield. And here's the opportunity for Mutimer to come into it again, shoot for goal, and I think this is a very quick one up on the board, and that's what Port Melbourne needed. They go to 8-8.
No. They got a bigger, deeper pants. No problem, Bob. No. Pizza Hut got cheese on top and cheese on the bottom.
And more of what you like in between, hey, Papa?
Ta-da! Look at the handle.
There is only one Pizza Hut deep pan pizza, but you can order it in over 1,000 ways.
Right now, we have the ball about to be bounced, but there have been some changes. Gary, have you seen them already?
Well, Allender has picked up more and more, seems to be going out on the half-forward flank most of the time. That's one of the changes at this stage.
All right, any more ready?
Well, Taylor, of course, back onto the ground after being sent off after his altercation with Jeff Saru. And, of course, that's going to be a big help for Port Melbourne, who are probably undermanned around the ground so far.
Right, well, Port Melbourne have already scored the major score, and the umpire blowing the whistle, giving a free kick. And Swan will take that ball, put it back to his teammate in Taylor, who takes the advantage of the 15-metre penalty. So Taylor now, from wide of centre-half forward, with the wind behind him, has the chance to put it right downfield. It'll be offline, whatever happens, and out on the full, so the free kick will be taken by Frankston. And the player to come in and take the free could be Brown. Right in that last line of defence, in the left-back pocket, he gets a lead, and he puts it around the field, and Zarnecki is the player to come in and accept the pass. So Zarnecki, only about 20 metres away, gets his kick in now towards the half-back flank, and the mark has been taken for Port Melbourne by Taylor. Taylor tries to get it into attack. He shoots it across towards that centre-forward zone. Oh, a good, strong mark taken down there, only about 20 metres out from goal. Well, this gives Port Melbourne another opportunity. We'll just have a look at this again. Well, look at that for a mark. And it was Mornay coming in. Always think of a good meal when you think of this fella. Mornay is about 20 metres out from goal, right in front, kicking towards the bay end of the ground. And Port Melbourne, I was going to say gaining the ascendancy. They are, with full points on the board, 9-8.
Feeling bored, need a change. Napro color turns ashes to flames. Wanna be different, a look to entice. Napro color turns salt and pepper into spice. In the mood for something bold.
Well, now we have the scores reading. Port Melbourne 9-8. Frankston are 7 goals 9. As play comes here towards the outer side, tucked towards the boundary, but it's gone, no, not quite over the line. Moving in quickly was Painter. Painter goes for the hand pass. By G, they're keen now, starting to go into it, deliberately pushed out of play, and the umpire will throw it in. It could liven up this, Gary.
Well, I think the situation between Taylor and Saru will just about explode very shortly.
Right, well, there they are, contesting for the knockout, and Saru has given a free kick away, and the free kick will go to Taylor. And Taylor comes into it now for Port Melbourne, up towards the half-forward line. Out they come, down to the ground goes the ball, and players very keen at this stage as it comes through in the direction of Moore, I think it was, but Bell is the player to get it back into the middle of the pack. Listen to the crowd liven up as a free kick is awarded, and it will be taken by the big fellow in Saru. Now Saru, from the half-back line, has to come up and get the ball himself. There was no way that Mornay was going to put it back to him. He gets a lead short of the centre of the ground, and the mark will be taken over here by Beaton or a Moore. Moore now gets his kick into Painter. Painter gets it further downfield, but coming up is Crutchfield in defence. Crutchfield towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. A good low mark then by the Port Melbourne player in Hicks. Hicks now from the stand wing position towards centre half forward. Up they go for the ball with the scores reading. Port Melbourne 9-8, Frankston 7-9. Eddie?
Doherty gets a head-high tackle there, and he'll take the free kick. Doherty would be 50 metres out from goal, but he has got a strong wind behind him. So far, his kicking has been pretty ordinary towards goal. We watch it in replay now. Doherty met solidly by Bell. Kick on its way. Umpire says 4 points, and Doherty has redeemed himself there with a good goal.
Take a break. Take a holiday with Philomena's. Check out our great range of holidays from Australia to the Maldives to Phuket. Take a look at some of our specials. South America, 14 days from $24.99. Fiji Club Hyatt, $12.20 all meals. The Cook Islands, 14 days, $15.99. Samoa, $12.20. Tonga, $12.87. The Solomon Islands, $15.47 all meals. Call Philomena's Travel, 602-3866.
Doherty's first goal for the game gives Port a lead now, 10-8-68 to 7-9-51, and he bursts through the centre again with a long kick out towards the half-forward flank, and it's taken there by Metcalf. Metcalf straight away onto the left foot, kicks in towards the full forward zone. Bardole in the way, Raven rather, and takes a strong mark. Raven steadying down play now. Kicks out to the defensive side of the ground, looking for Saru and finds him. Saru taking a strong mark. It's his 7th mark for the game so far. He's been a dominant player. Receives the 15-metre penalty. We'll watch it in replay now as Saru goes for the ball. Takes a strong mark under a lot of pressure from Carter. Ball up towards the half-forward flank, and it was that man Carter again who has taken the mark. Carter up towards the wing position. Geddes and Saru will fly for Frankston. Off hands to Mutimer. Good play. The handball to Metcalf. Metcalf onto the left foot, kicking forward. Up high there for Frankston was O'Reilly. It was punched to the ground. Raven dives on top of it. Picked up by Port Melbourne there. And the kick from McDonald is through for 1 point. So McDonald now has kicked 2 goals, 1 for the game, as Port Melbourne moved to 10-9-69 to Frankston 7-9-51, 7.5 minutes into the third quarter. Raven's kick comes out, looking there. Ball gets knocked to the ground. Finally comes up to the wing position. The kick back by Metcalf up towards the centre half forward position. Hicks flies high, can't take the mark. Off hands was Bailey. His kick pushed by the wind through for 1 behind. Bailey has kicked 1 goal, 1 now. We watch in replay as Hicks flies for that mark. Can't take it on the second grab, and Bailey's kick slews off his foot through for 1 behind. Taking a while for the ball to come back. It'll be Glenn Brown to take the kick from full back. Brown kicking into the wind to the outer side of the ground. Flying high there was Bailey, and he pulls in a great mark. Bailey's become a good player up around that half-forward line. The kick long into the square. Drops short. Going through was Raven, can't take the mark, and it'll be Brown who'll take the free kick. Brown chips in short, finds Saru, and the big man will steady down play in the back pocket for Frankston. Saru with his 18th possession kicks up towards Geddes on the wing position, and Geddes doesn't let him down. Received a bit of attention from Bailey there, but he plays on straight away. Coming at him was Taylor, but he goes around him. Geddes now with the chip pass in towards Kelvin Moore. Allender coming through strongly, takes the ball, kicks up towards the wing position. Geddes once more, but Bailey recovers, kicks up toward the forward pocket, but in the way is Arthur Bell and drops the simplest of marks, and there'll be a throw in on the half-forward flank for the Port Melbourne side.
Right, Gary Bryce, Port Melbourne have certainly lifted in this quarter.
They certainly have, but they've got to get it over on the other side of the ground if they want to score these goals. It's no good being on this side of the ground.
They certainly have lifted, Gary. They've kicked 3 goals to this quarter. Frankston haven't had the ball across their centre-half forward line.
Righto, now we're just waiting on the bounce of the ball to take place. Port Melbourne 10-10-70, Frankston 7-9-51. And Saru going in there with McDonald. Saru getting the knockout from the ruck. Push further afield, straight out towards that boundary line, and a throw in again to be effective. That was A. Moore coming into it, as distinct from Kelvin Moore. Well, the crowd very vocal at the present time. There have been a few incidents going on out there. And you can see one of the Frankston players a little bit distressed at the moment, as we await the throw-in to be effected. And here we go. Ruckman move into it. Saru giving his opponent a little bit of a shove, pushed out wide. And eventually we see the ball kicked downfield by Metcalf, down towards that centre-forward zone. But coming in defence for Frankston is O'Reilly. He plays it to Saru. Saru with a further hand pass. And here's the Dolphins through Brown into attack up towards the half-forward line. There's Kelvin Moore having it punched away from him. Comes down here to McCarthy. McCarthy out towards the flank position. And the mark has been taken over there by Painter. So Painter within scoring range, although he's kicking into the wind towards the Young Street end of the ground. Frankston really need a score at this stage. He's kicked 1 goal so far, Painter. Not a bad old roost either, and if it's accurate, it's 4 points. Yes, he's got it. And that takes Frankston to 8 goals 9.
What you doing, Mr. Walker?
Polishing memories, son.
Gee, they must be worth a lot.
They are to me. That's why I had a Hugel and Hoyle security system installed. I reckon a house gets knocked off every couple of minutes. But if any joker tried that around here, the old Hugel and Hoyle, it'd make more noise than Greg Matthews. Can't, son. I'll show you how we used to whip the Windies.
To make your home as safe as houses, Hugel and Hoyle it. Call 543-7555.
Frankston now 8-9-57 to Port 10-10-70. And the free kick up for Frankston will go to Bardol as the Dolphins try to come back into the game. Bardol chips in short. Oh, shocker dropped there by Hutchison. Should have marked it. Play on. Gets the handball out wide to Painter once more. On his natural left foot. Lines it up. Goes bang. And that's full points. Frankston now coming right back into this game.
Aspro Clear is a most advanced form of pain-relieving aspirin. Aspro Clear is totally soluble and so is rapidly absorbed to work quickly and effectively. To help relieve headache, to help reduce fever, to help relieve body aches and pains. Use only as directed, and if pain persists, see your doctor. Every day, more and more Australians place their trust in Aspro Clear. Aspro Clear, totally soluble and works fast.
Painter's 3rd goal now, and that makes it 7 points the difference. 12.5 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Port Melbourne 10-10-70, and they lead by 7 points, 9-9-63. Frankston, ball taking a little bit longer to get back than usual. Gary Bryce, Frankston coming right back now.
Yes, well, a bit disappointing for Port because they opened so well, but they've relaxed a little bit and allowed Frankston to get back in with 2 great goals into the win.
Taylor and Saru. Saru gets the tap. Metcalf grabs the ball. He's tackled by Zarnecki. Swan on the bottom of the pack. The umpire says in the back, and Bill Swan will take the free kick. Swan has been a fine player, the Port Melbourne captain and Liston Trophy winner. He drives down with his 8th kick towards the half-forward flank. Flying high from behind was Raven. He's the first to recover. Diving on the ball there was Harkins. He gets the handball out. Good play there to McDonald. McDonald's left foot snap up towards the teeth of goals. It's off hands. Play on's the call. Coming through well is Brown there for the Frankston side. And a great play by Frankston as they run down through the wing position. Painter now onto his left foot, kicks up towards McCarty. He takes the mark. Now McCarty moved out to the half-forward line in the second quarter, starting to come into the game. It's normally a lovely kick of the football. Goes short, over the head there. Cooper tries to punch from behind. Crutchfield bursts through, coming, beautiful play through half-back. Drives down towards centre half-forward, off hands, can't be taken there by Geddes. Mutimer goes through, is tackled and has been given dropping the ball, and Bell will take the free kick. Bell, the deputy vice-captain of the Frankston side, kicks out wide towards Hutchison on the wing position, plays on straight away, gets tackled beautifully by Hicks, play on says the umpire, goes to McCarty to Bardole who was asleep, Crutchfield now, handballs, Ross can't pick it up, Hicks taps the ball off the ground, going through hard there was a Moore, up towards Allender. Allender picks it up well, gets the hand pass to Cooper. Cooper with the handball over his head to Crutchfield. He's tackled by Bardole. Play on says the umpire. Painter onto the left foot, kicks into Kelvin Moore, and he's taken the diving mark.
Right, gee, there were a lot of errors then.
Bit of a comedy of errors there, but it's ended up with Kelvin Moore. Of course, Kelvin played a lot of his play at fullback. O'Brien, in fact, it was with the left foot to Moore, and he takes the mark. He's about 45 metres out from goal. Moore's kick offline, through for one behind. It's his second behind, and Frankston now move to 9-10-64. They trail by a goal to Port Melbourne's 10-10-70, and that is at the 15-minute mark of the third quarter.
Right, we're just waiting now on Cooper to take the kick-off. He'll play it here towards the half-back line, and the mark taken by Ross. Ross comes into it, plays it up towards the half-forward line. Up they go, no one able to trap the ball, and eventually it's kicked by Carter out towards that boundary line, but in the meantime the umpire's blowing the whistle, indicating there will be a free kick, and it will be taken by Doherty. Mick Doherty of Port Melbourne. He goes around opponents, doesn't gain much advantage at all as he passes it back, this time to Carter. Carter up towards the half-forward line, and the mark has been taken in defence for Frankston by O'Brien. O'Brien with his kick, dropping it short of the centre of the ground. The bounce beats some more, and the umpire blows the whistle, and it will be Doherty to come in for this free again. Now Doherty from slightly wide of the centre to try and penetrate the Frankston defence. Fortunately for him, got the hand pass into Billy Swan, who in turn gets it across in the direction of Harkins. Harkins couldn't break away, but gets the hand pass, goes over here towards Taylor. Taylor with a shocker. Eventually the ball ends up here in the hands of Hoy. Hoy shoots for goal, and he's put it through for full point.
How far will a dog go for love? Love tender chunks, and the best will do for love.
Well, there we have the scores on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, and don't forget the Best Player award is the Mitsubishi Tankard, which you will see at the end of the game being presented by Tony Banks in the dressing room. Well, now play goes on. It goes up towards the half-forward line, but again we see Zarnecki coming in here now. Can't quite trap the ball, does eventually. Oh, loses it, scoops it back with a clever bit of play in the direction of Beaton. Beaton now with his kick up towards the half-forward line. Mark taken by McCarty. McCarty with a hand pass to Beaton. Back here towards Bardole. Back to McCarty. McCarty shoots for goal. And the mark taken right near the side of the goal square by Jones. So Jones has every opportunity of scoring again. The kid out on the scoreboard's even got the goal down, ready to put up. That didn't sound right, the goal down, ready to put up, did it? Anyway, Jones comes in, puts it on its way towards the Young Street end, and the scores are already up there for Frankston. So, Gary, you know who's handling the scoreboard out there. Frankston 10-10, Port Melbourne 11-10.
Yes, it's a great comeback by Frankston. They're playing a lot better now, and Port Melbourne really got to just calm down and try and get that ascendancy back again.
Brian Jones' second goal there. And Frankston now 10-10-70, trail Port Melbourne by a goal, 11-10-76. We've been playing 18 minutes now into this third quarter. Game very evenly poised. Saru and Taylor. Taylor gets the tap this time. Coming through hard is Harkins for Port Melbourne. Harkins onto the left foot. The high kick down towards full forward. McDonald will fly from in front. Punched away from him. Coming through is Geddes, the captain of Frankston. Geddes gets the handball over the top towards Painter. Painter goes around 3 players. Taylor tried to knock his head off. Comes out now to O'Brien. O'Brien onto the left foot up towards Kelvin Moore. Goes up with the one hand. Going through is Ross for Port Melbourne. He breaks the tackle there from Jones and kicks wide to the open spaces. Harkins for Port Melbourne leads the race for the ball. He picks up. Has got Metcalf loose for the handball. Finally gets it across. Play on, says the umpire. Picked up by McDonald. McDonald on the left foot up towards Hicks. But Raven stands firm and takes a fine mark. Raven, one of the best players for Frankston in defence, goes in short and finds Moore there, Beaton rather. O'Brien rather gets the kick, goes out towards Hutchison. He can't control it. A Moore comes through half forward, long kick. Up high is Cooper, can't take the mark. Jones picks up, he's tackled solidly there, and the free kick will go to Dermott. Greg Dermott drops a short one into Doherty. Doherty is met solidly there by Beaton, and will take the mark and the free kick midway between full-back and centre half-back. His high kick into the centre of the ground. He's looking for Taylor there. Was pushed in the back by Geddes and will take the free kick. Taylor has played better since coming on after being sent off after an altercation with Saru, and has been one of their best players.
He's had 8 kicks for the game and 5 coming from this quarter.
Certainly a big quarter this time by the big ruckman. A long kick forward. Saru, his opposite number there, takes the mark and will bring play out to the outer side of the ground.
But gee, I thought I saw Peter Jansen there for a moment.
Coming through strongly was O'Reilly. He takes the mark and gets a bit of treatment from some of his former teammates. Grant O'Reilly now with the aid of a 15-metre penalty has a lead coming from Bardole. He's taking far too long with the kick. Finally gets the kick up towards centre half forward. Bardole and Painter leave it for each other. Coming through is Hoy. Hoy's hand pass is wild, comes out to Zarnecki. Zarnecki kicks long, but it's marked there by Ian Cooper. Cooper, sporting the new blonde hairstyle, kicks forward, and Port Melbourne are into attack again.
Been playing a very strong game all day today, Cooper, as we have Saru coming in to take the big mark. He's got a lead on the outer side of the ground here as players move into it, and the little fellow Beaton moves in. He couldn't take the mark. Zarnecki kicks it off the ground, but over the line and out by the look of it. Yeah, there it goes. With Port Melbourne on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, 11-10. 1 goal up on Frankston, 10 goals 10. Oh, gee, this crowd are enjoying the match down here today at the Frankston Oval. Now, Ruckman set themselves again. Let's see who'll get the advantage here. And a big knockout by Crutchfield. It is immediately kicked by Hutchinson up towards the forward zone. Comes back here towards Moore. Moore with a long kick, but again, who's there but Cooper? I don't know how Port Melbourne will be without Cooper down there in that last line of defence. He passes it beautifully to Dermott. Dermott now gets ready for his kick, holding up play a bit. Saru comes across. Beaton went up for the mark there, couldn't quite do it. Oh, look at them throw themselves in down here as Bardole gets possession. He plays it towards centre forward. It's Dermott coming into defence now. He can take the bounce and then line up to put the ball back in towards the centre of the ground, but Saru's there. He taps it straight out. He can see the little fellow coming up. And that was O'Brien. O'Brien now gets the pass, and eventually it ends up with Bardole. If he can straighten up, he's put it offline, and it'll go through for 1 point. A little bit hurried in the kicking. Bardole was looking to pass the ball there, realised he didn't quite have time, so took a hurried kick, and it went through for 1 point. Kick out to Cooper. Cooper goes for the hand pass. It'll be taken away by Metcalf. Metcalf couldn't get any distance with it. And this is Moore coming in. He passes the ball back to Hutchinson. A little late in passing it. Gets it to Bardole. Bardole out towards the pocket position. Tapped back into play, which wasn't good play on the part of the Frankston player, because there were 2 Port Melbourne players in defence as it's taken by Jennings. Jennings of Port Melbourne now, just on the half-back line. Will take his time with the kick, looks for the lead now, further afield, goes over the centre line, up towards that half-forward line, and the mark has been taken by Mutimer. Mutimer on the attacking flank now. getting ready to put it down towards the Bay Street end of the ground. Here goes the kick on its way, up towards that forward zone. No one able to take the mark, and still no one able to get it away. It comes out towards the middle of the pack. There's Hutchison scouting around, but Bell is the player to gain possession. And Bell now with his kick back wide of the centre of the ground towards the stand side. And the ball has been trapped out here by Moore. Moore gets it across field, up towards centre half forward, looking for Moore. Oh, and his teammate comes in to pull down the mark. That was Jones. Jones chipping it in front, a little short pass, and it comes off on the half-forward line to McCarty. Now, McCarty would be 45 metres out from goal on about the same angle of 45 degrees. He's kicked, what, Ian?
Kicked 2 goals, 1.
Oh, he went for the pass to Zarnecki. And a little bit fortunate there. Zarnecki getting the fingertips to the ball, and it came down into the hand. So he's got the chance now to score. Kicking towards the Young Street end of the ground. Lifted their game, Gary, Frankston?
Yes, in the last 10 or 15 minutes they've been far superior to Port Melbourne.
There goes the kick on its way, and the wind might drag it through. It's gone through for full points, and Frankston have hit the front. And that is at the 25-minute mark, coming into time on. So Frankston moved to 11-11, 77 to Port Melbourne's 10-10, a total of 76. All right, comments from Gary Bryce now on how you see the game.
Yes, well, it looks as though with the wind advantage that Port have, Frankston really have a stranglehold on the game. If they can continue with it, I think Port Melbourne are just about finished.
Well, 1 point the difference now. Frankston in front. Terrible bounce, tied the umpire, and just as bad was the play there by Taylor. He tried to kick the ball off the ground. Saru bursts through. Gets the handball working to Raven. It was a shocker. Hicks now onto the right foot. The kicker's offline though, and through for one behind. Could have been a costly mistake there by Saru. Gary, how did you see that ruck exchange there with a comedy of errors there between Taylor and Saru?
Well, it was a bad bounce, and then Taylor, instead of trying to grab the ball, just kicked it in the air. And two players with their ability, it wasn't really a good piece of play at all.
Raven now scores level, kicks out wide. Brown gets tackled solidly there. Free kick, says the umpire, and Brown will take it on the members' side flank on the half-back line for Frankston. The tackle from Mornay there, too high. Scores dead level. We've played 25 minutes in this third quarter. The kick up towards the half-forward flank position. Punched away there by Port Melbourne. There'll be a throw-in on the half-forward flank for Frankston. Frankston playing well into the breeze this quarter. Crutchfield can't get the tap. Moore kicks high. The mark taken there by Carter. Peter Carter, the vice-captain of the Port Melbourne side, will relieve pressure for the Boroughs. Kicks down towards the wing position, looking for Allender. Geddes is from behind. Both tried to punch on. Stack up of players. Finally comes out towards Raven. Raven bursting through onto the left foot. Kick short, but it's intercepted there by Port Melbourne again. It was Harkins. Harkins' handball goes out towards Ross. Ross caught there by McCarty, but he batters up pretty well. Ball comes back to McCarty. Play on as there's a heavy clash behind play. And there'll be a free kick downfield. Stilly play by Doherty on that occasion. Play on straight away. Kelvin Moore. Play on, says the umpire. Picked up by Cooper. Cooper balks beautifully, gets around Zarnecki, chips in the pass, and the mark's taken there by Taylor. Taylor straight away at the handball, puts Mutimer under a lot of pressure. He's tackled by 3 players. Hutchison taps it on. O'Brien comes through now. Onto the left foot, looks for Moore, all on his own, and Moore doesn't let him down. Now Kelvin would be 45 metres out from goal, kicking into a strong breeze. Would need a very good kick to make the distance from here. Ball drops towards the front of the goal square. Big pack of players fly. Bardole gets the handball. Going through strong was Crutchfield, going in for it now. Finally, Hoy gets the hand pass out towards Ross. Ross's high left foot kick out towards the half-forward flank. Hicks coming through hard, plays it well, gets around 2 players, gets tackled, but recovers well again. He's playing very well. The left foot kicks high into the air. Over the back of Zarnecki and takes the fine mark. Mightn't have been 10 metres, but the umpire says it was worth a mark anyway. Chips the kick in straight away, and McCarty takes the mark. Now McCarty, normally a beautiful kick of the football. He's kicked 2 goals, 1 for the game so far. And if he kicks this, he'll put the Frankston side 1 goal up. They're 11-11, 77 apiece. The kick's on its way. The wind brings it back, and he's put it through. McCartney's third, and Frankston hit the lead by a goal. Gary Bryce, Frankston coming right back into it now.
Yes, very impressive play by Frankston there. There's still a lot of mistakes being made by both sides, but certainly Frankston the last 15 have really controlled the game.
McCarthy's a very accurate kick for goal. He's had 3 deliberate shots with 3 goals.
A beautiful kick. We saw that at the doubleheader some time ago, a couple of weeks ago. He's a magnificent kick for goal.
All right, on the bounce, the big fellow comes in, Saru, marks it, a la Polly Farmer. He gets it wide of the pack, if you can remember Polly, of course. Hutchison now gets the pass up towards the half-forward line. Again, Cooper is out there, and Cooper, who I feel is one of the best players on the ground, gets the hand pass in the direction of Carter. He couldn't break away with it. Eventually coming through here is Painter. Painter of Frankston towards the centre-forward zone, and this time it's Crutchfield in defence out here to Allender. Allender of Port Melbourne with a hand pass. He gets it across towards Dermott. Greg Dermott now balks nicely, left foots it, up towards the centre half-forward zone. Billy Swan tried to tap it down to the ground. Comes back to Arthur Bell of Frankston. Bell towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. Players go down, but the umpire calls play on. He doesn't this time. It will be a ball up. Now the best player will receive the Mitsubishi Tankard. Tony Banks will be presenting that at the end of the match. And now the ball tapped up towards the half-forward line. Moving in is Amore. Amore trapped. He can't get away with the ball. Hand pass comes out of it here towards Metcalf. Metcalf up towards further up that half-forward line. Coming in that time was Raven. He couldn't get away with it. It's O'Brien. O'Brien now threading his way through the pack. Gets the kick up towards the half-forward line. Up they go for it. Allender forces it down to the ground, but got grabbed a little bit high right under the scoreboard, and he gets the free kick. 1 goal the difference in Frankston's favour on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, and there's that trophy to be awarded by Tony Banks on behalf of Mitsubishi for the best player on the ground. Play goes on up towards the half-forward line, and that was McDonald coming out to take the mark. Now, they desperately need another goal here, Port Melbourne. They need a couple, as a matter of fact, because Frankston will come home with the win. Up towards that left-forward pocket, off the hands of the players, and there was a chance for a shot for goal by Mornay, and Mornay's put it through for full points. Again, scores are level. Both sides on 12-11 as the siren goes for three-quarter time. You couldn't want it any better for a game, Gary Bryce. But here's Peter Chisnell now with Tony Banks.
Pete, we've started this game a few times. We're going into the final quarter, dead level again.
Yeah, that's right.
What can you do, though? Frankston have got the win. Can you hold them out?
Yeah, I think we can, Tony. Our smaller blokes are starting to work a little bit better now. They worked their way back into it then, so I think we can. Yeah, it's there.
Taylor and Saru are having a great battle today, but you must have been pleased the way Taylor played in that quarter.
Particularly in that quarter, yeah, he rucked very well and contested well, and that's really all I want him to do.
Now, what's
a bigger man, so he's going to contest hard.
What's the main point you're going to give your players now in this final quarter?
Well, I think now we've got to just run the ball. We're going to concentrate on our running game, get the ball moving up the ground, and have our forward line open wide, and then I think we can capitalise on it.
Try and forget about the psychological barrier of a wind advantage to Frankston.
That's exactly right. Just run the ball. There's no wind.
Peter Chisnell very confident in the final quarter. Back to you, Phil.
Well, Tony, isn't this a great setup for a final quarter coming in? We've got Port Melbourne needing to win. They're out of the 4 on percentage. Both sides on 12-11, a total of 83 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard.
8:30 tonight.
Fletcher, I want you to sail with me again.
2 men who began as friends.
What are you threatening me with? It's not a threat, it's a warning.
Mel Gibson stars in the Australian television premiere of The Bounty. 8:30 tonight on Channel 10.
Herbal Sea. A very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors. This Herbal Sea has a strong soothing action of eucalyptus and menthol and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C, while this Herbal Sea has a gentle soothing action of honey and lemon and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C. You might get stuck with a sore throat this winter, but at least you won't get stuck with the same ordinary flavors. Herbal Sea. A very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors.
Dad and I had a man-to-man talk the other day. I said, Dad, we can't go on living like this. The country's the place for us. He said, but it's too expensive for us, son. Not with Salanti Property Advisors, I answered. We can have a quality home on 2 acres of land for under $40,000. Really? Would I lie to you, Dad? With that, I tucked him into bed and went back to reading my financial review. Thanks, Salanti.
When the apples were ripe for picking, we were always thinking up ways to get the best ones. The ones Nana used for her pies. I reckon we picked a bucketful for every pie. And a pastry that wasn't thin enough till you could see through it. And you know, even after the biggest slice, there was always room for more.
Nana's light and extra fruity pies. There's apple, apricot, blackberry and apple.
And there's always room for more.
Well, back here at the Frankston ground, both sides on 12-11, 83, as I said before the break, we're all set up for a magnificent final. I just said to Gary Bryce off air, we're talking about the match. The standard of play seemed to lift considerably in that third quarter. And it's quite interesting, too. We keep saying that the Bay end is the scoring end with a strong breeze favouring that end. It doesn't appear that way when you look at the scores quarter by quarter, Gary.
No, it doesn't, Phil, and I think the reason being that each side has really lifted their game when they've fired into the wind. They realise that they've really got to work hard, and as a result, the opposition haven't been getting it as easy as they should have. But both sides applying the pressure. We've mentioned the number of mistakes that have been made, but it's being made because each side is really putting pressure on the opposition when they have the ball, and it's been a magnificent game up to this stage, and I think it will be a fantastic last quarter.
Yeah, well, if you have a look at it quarter by quarter, you see there in the first quarter, that was Port Melbourne leading 36-19, but have a look at the end of the second quarter now here at three-quarter time. Could you suggest anything either side could do, Gary, to gain the ascendancy?
Well, I think Frankston, I'm sure they're aware of their marking power, but I think up to now they've been hoping that by kicking the ball high with the wind, their bigger players will mark the ball, but I think they have to be more positive than that. Rather than kicking the ball 60 metres with the wind, they've really got to start getting their forwards to lead, direct the ball out towards the grandstand side of the ground, and hope that they can take a few marks. But they must move the ball and start using it well, and not rely on the wind just to do the work for them.
Right now, Ian, we'll get you to give the statistics here, and we'll have a look at them a little later on. We didn't get time to get them through to the studio there, but what are they?
Right, possessions for Frankston are 187, for Port Melbourne 196. Kicks for Frankston 151, Port Melbourne 157. The interesting statistic is the one that Gary drew notice to earlier in the day. Frankston 66 marks, Port Melbourne 59, keeping in mind that they were very badly outmarked in the first quarter. Free kicks 20 to Frankston, 38 to Port Melbourne. Handballs 56 Frankston, 39 Port Melbourne. Goal kickers for Port Melbourne, 2 each to Swan, Hicks, McDonald and Mornay. Both of those goals for Mornay came in that third quarter. 1 each to Bailey, Mutimer, Hoy and Doherty. And for Frankston, 3 each to McCarty, Painter a brilliant quarter. 2 to Jones, 1 each to O'Reilly, Bardol and Zarnecki.
Righto, and just repeating the scores here at three-quarter time, both sides, Frankston and Port Melbourne, on 12 goals 11.
Monday night, a tropical paradise becomes the ideal setting for a triple murder, and the matchless Miss Marple intends to put a stop to these chilling killings. A Caribbean mystery, another brilliant whodunit from Agatha Christie, 8:30 Monday on 10.
Announcing the McDonald's International Junior Tennis Challenge.
This is junior tennis at its best, and McDonald's would like you to be part of it. You'll see the top juniors from Australia, the USA, West Germany and Scandinavia. Last year, the Australians won, and they're determined to make it 2 in a row. There's a limited number of complimentary tickets available at all McDonald's restaurants now. So pick up your tickets and see the world's top juniors in action. August 15, 16 and 17 at the Camberwell Tennis Centre.
Lovely strawberries. They're gone.
That's right, Betty. Gone to Cotty's. You see, Cotty's have lots more whole strawberries in their strawberry jam to give it a fruitier taste.
Marvellous. You know, I really came by to borrow some strawberries.
Oh, Betty, do you still make your own jam?
Not anymore, dear.
Cotty's jams with more whole fruit taste even fruitier.
But I do think he deserves something.
The winner is Mendel.
Put some Kleenex tissues
Well, now Tony Banks is walking off the ground with Josh Kendall.
Attacks. Hang on. Graham, you just said it was a great game, but I'm sure you're having heart attacks at this stage of the match.
It would be a lot greater if we were about 5 in front, but again, our last 15 minutes of the quarter was tremendous, and which enabled us to get back into the game, and I think if we don't go on from here, there's something wrong.
Will the wind do it for you in the final quarter?
No, it won't. I've instructed the players that they've got to use the ball, and I think that's the critical thing, because sometimes you get trapped with the fact of just blazing away, but we won't be doing that.
Well, Peter Chisnell has told his players that the wind is only a psychological barrier to forget about it, so I guess it's going to get down to who puts in the most in the final 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair comment, and I think that I think we're starting to run on a little bit better than what they were. I think our running will be the thing in the end.
Who's your key forward, do you think, at this stage, the match winner? Who could win it for you?
Well, Bardola's capable of doing it. Brian Jones could be a surprise packet because he's done particularly well for us in that position before, so just watch out for him.
OK, Graham Kendall's comments at three-quarter time. Gary Bryce looking worried.
Well, are you worried, Gary?
No, not worried at all.
Not much. 12-11, both sides, lining up for the final quarter, and a vital quarter for the Port Melbourne side. If they lose this, they're in trouble for the finals. They're not out of it, but they will be in a little bit of strife. And we'll give you progress scores from those other important matches just as soon as they come to hand. Now, umpire Marshall signalling to the timekeepers, and we're underway. The game really starting again because both sides even. And there we go with the knockout. Comes down into the middle of the pack. A kick up towards Port Melbourne's half-forward line. The bounce beats Raven. He couldn't do anything with the ball. Over the top of it they go. The umpire's calling play on as Arthur Bell passes it out to Raven. In defence, Raven sends it into the centre of the ground. Players battle away, and it will be taken away by Painter. Painter with a beautiful long kick down towards the forward zone. Moving in there is Cooper. He can't get the ball away. Played a magnificent game through the day, but it's O'Brien coming in. He can't gain possession either, and it will be a ball up. Umpire Gleeson coming in for the bounce. 12-11, both sides. By end is the end at which the wind is blowing in this final quarter. Frankston kicking towards that end. Only a minute of play gone by. Allender getting the knockout from the ruck. A kick here by the little fellow in the person of Beaton, put it across the face of goals and over the line on the full. Now it's Cooper to take the kick. Cooper looking for leads. Will play the defensive side of the ground, although racing right across the ground here is Taylor. Being pursued by Zarnecki, and he's played it out towards the defensive side. And a big fellow, Saru, going up to take the mark. He's played a top ruckman game today. 13th mark, Ian? 13th mark, 14th kick, and he's had 10 hand passes, and he's won many, many knockouts. He's coming in from the boundary line. What a roost this is. On its way, it'll come down into the middle of the pack and be forced through for one behind. However, that gives Frankston the lead. They move on to 12-12 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, 84 to Port Melbourne's 12-11, 83. 1 point the difference. Cooper to take the kickoff. Now, what happened there, Gary? I was looking at the scoreboard. Did you see it?
Yes, the full forward would not come back, giving them the 10-yard kick, so the free kick's been brought back to the centre half-back position.
And Cooper came right up to that centre half-back, put it up over the centre, but the player coming in to take the mark in defence here for Frankston is Amore. Amore out towards the half-forward line, and another mark, it's Bardol coming up there. He goes for the long hand pass, gets it across beautifully to Dunbar. Dunbar now towards centre forward, up they go, knocked down, and it'll be taken away here by McCartney by the look of it, or was it Moore? Moore it was who put it up towards the forward zone, but put it over the line, and it will be a free kick to be taken by Port Melbourne. Right down into the sunshine there. And here's the kick. It'll go around the outer side of the ground, or with by Carter. No one able to take it as we have Mordialec Caulfield coming through. Caulfield well on top in that game. Now Port Melbourne has the opportunity. Here's a chance for them to get it off that half-back line. But the umpire blowing the whistle. He's picked out a free to Hicks. And he now will be able to get it off the half-back line. He swings the play in towards the centre of the ground. Up they go, and the mark has been taken by Hoy. Geelong West leading Camberwell. Oh, have a look at that. Magnificent score by Geelong West. Dermott now plays it towards centre forward. Nearly a mark taken. A screw round by McDonald. Goes close towards the goals. Moving in here is Mornay. Mornay screws it around again. And I don't think it was a good screw. No, it's gone through for 1 point. And that takes Port Melbourne on to 12-12. A total of 84. And both sides even at the moment on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. A kick-off comes out to Arthur Bell. He's being tackled down here by Metcalf. But Bell will go back to take the kick. He's getting a lead from his teammate in Brown. But Brown is too close. Preston 71 leading Sandringham 68. Great game going on out there as Moore comes in to take the mark for Frankston. Moore on the outer wing position looking for the lead downfield.
Moore's kick now, Bardol underneath it. A strong mark taken there by Allender. Allender goes short, finds Dermott there. Dermott plays on straight away onto the left foot, kicking up, coming through solidly there was Brown. He was met solidly too. Metcalf gets the ball, gets the hand pass working there for Jennings. Jennings bursts through half forward. The long kick forward is through. It's a goal. And Jennings has put Port Melbourne in front. They lead by a goal.
When you're ready to move up to real four-wheel drive, move up to a Nissan Patrol. Move up to a limited slip differential. Move up to proven turbo power. Move up to the tougher chassis and four-wheel drive. So you'll never be up against it, whatever the conditions. And now prices are down, way down, starting with a $1,500 factory rebate. When you get right down to it, the Nissan Patrol is a real four-wheel drive bargain. And that's on the level. Right, Paul?
Fine goal by Jennings, puts Port Melbourne 1 goal in front. The ball's kicked out into the members' side wing position. Leading the race for the ball there is Doherty for Port Melbourne. The ball will be knocked over the line and a throw in as Hicks gets into a bit of an altercation there. Umpire's picked out a free kick. Will go to Crutchfield. Jennings with the kick. Kicks wide, punched away, and Moore goes in. Swings onto the left foot, kicks up towards the centre-half forward position. Cooper underneath the pack. The big punch away by Dermott. The free kick is going to go to Cooper for holding the man in the pack there. Ian Cooper has been a fine player all day for Port Melbourne. Took McCarty out of the game. Kicks up towards the wing position. Saru there from behind. Punched away by Taylor. And there'll be a free kick given by the umpire. And he's given it to... Kick up forward now. Comes out to Cooper. Cooper with the handball. Out wide towards the flank position. Coming through there was O'Brien. Finally picked up by Hicks. The Hicks's kick up towards the half-forward flank. Giddies from behind, can't hold the mark. Play on, says the umpire. Crutchfield bursts through, looks up forward for McDonald. McDonald leads the race for the ball. It's one out between McDonald there and O'Reilly. McDonald tries to go around him, grabbed by O'Reilly. The umpire says dropping the ball, and O'Reilly clears from the last line of defence. O'Reilly kicks wide to Bell. Bell has Zarnicki clear. Zarnicki now has a bit of room, kicks towards the wing position. Ball drops a bit short. Coming in hard there for Frankston is O'Brien. O'Brien's high kick up towards the half-forward line. Bardell can't take the mark. Brown picks up a long kick forward, right up to the thread of the goal. Punched away there by Cooper, through for one behind. So the scores now, Frankston 12-13-85. Trail Port Melbourne 13-12-90 as Ian Cooper comes out to take the kick.
All right, and Cooper now, just waiting for the umpire. He came down to have a word with one of the Frankston players. And he's gone for the short pass, and he gets it out here to Ross. Neil Ross of Port Melbourne, deeper in that back pocket position. There goes the kick. He's playing it on the wrong flank, really, onto Frankston's attacking flank on the stand side of the ground. There's Saru going down over the top of the ball. crowd yelling, but the umpire allowing play to continue. Metcalf comes into it. Metcalf gets a short hand pass here towards Doherty. Doherty coming right downfield, and Port Melbourne can start to seal this up if they can get a goal out of this one. He gets the hand pass in. The umpire doesn't call a free kick. Holding the ball, says the umpire, and calls play on now as the Frankston player comes downfield to kick it up towards the centre half forward zone. But they know a mark is not taken. Cooper comes into it, but goes into the hands of Saru. Saru with a further hand pass, gets it across to Amor. Amor now coming back into the play, can't gain possession, comes out here towards Saru. Saru with his kick up towards the half-forward line. Up they go, and the mark has been taken down here by Jones of Frankston. Well, Frankston 5 points down at the moment. He went not a good bit of play by Jones. He went for the short pass, and this let Port Melbourne in through the agency of Hoy. Hoy couldn't break away, and it's kicked right on to the boundary line. And the boundary umpire will signal that it'll be thrown back into play. They've really livened up. Listen to the crowd as the throw-in comes in. Saru comes in, takes that double-handed one. He gets it down in the direction of his teammate and O'Brien. O'Brien further downfield, players being offloaded. Umpire blowing the whistle, and he's picked a free kick out of it as the trainer comes out. Zarnecki was the player underneath him there, and Amor is the player. And beaten. It was...
When the croak gets beyond a joke, try Allen's butter menthol. The butter soothes the throat, the menthol clears the head. Allen's butter menthol.
1 point the difference, and Bardole has come in to take a big mark, and the umpire disallowed it on the forward zone, and a kick out on the full, so it'll be a free kick to be taken by Beaton of the Frankston side. Beaton was the player to kick the last goal for Frankston, to put them in front, 91-90 at the present time. Beaton over the boundary line to come in and take this kick towards the bay end of the ground. There it goes, and it'll swing right offline. And what's the goal umpire say? There's a bit of an altercation going on in the goal square. Bardole in there. Umpire being told what to do. They're all having a go at the moment. And this, of course, indicates the pressure, Gary.
Yes, I think the umpire's going to give a free kick to Frankston. I think the umpires aren't handling the pressure either very well. Bardole, I think, will get the free.
Well, we had Allender get that player by the throat to push him away. And it'll be Bardole to come in and take the shot. He's right in front of goals, with Frankston 1 point up at the moment. Bardole kicking to the bay end of the ground, and he's put it right through the middle. Frankston go to 14-13 with Port Melbourne 13-12.
Today's living legend, Taylor's Lakes. Why don't you make the move? With big, beautiful blocks to give you all the room you'll ever need to build your very special dream. Taylor's Lakes Keilor, where people picnic in their own backyard, where parks and playgrounds are close to home. Taylor's Lakes, 20 minutes from town, or ring Abbott and Dean.
Well, what a game we've got on our hands now. Frankston 7 points in front as Geddes gets the big tap out. Coming through for Port Melbourne there is Carter. Knocks the ball in front of him. Dunbar with the handball to Saru. Saru kicks wide out to the open spaces, and Frankston will go into attack this time through Whitfield. Whitfield taking his time as he kicks forward up towards Bardole. Flying from behind was Allender. Kelvin Moore gets the ball. The ball gets kicked over the line and out of bounds, and it'll be a throw in the forward pocket for Frankston, and they lead by 7 points at the minute, and that's 12 3/4 minutes into this last quarter. Throw in. Bardole will do the ruck work. Tries to grab it out of the ruck. Allender gets a kick. The big punch was Taylor. He's knocked it right out of bounds. We're going to a few scores there. Sunshine narrow leaders over Oakley at the moment by 2 points in the match of the day in second division. But the match here at the moment, 7 points the difference. The throw in. 2 Port Melbourne players go for it. McCarty with the right foot snap. High up to the forward line. Bardol takes a great mark. Played on straight away. But the umpire's taken it off him. Gary Bryce, did you see what happened there? We're watching on replay as McCarty kicked forward. Bardol seemed to take the mark.
I can't see what that was for.
Anyway, we go out to the outer side now. Crutchfield kicks into the man on the mark, plays on, gets around the Moore, handballs backwards, out of bounds. There'll be a throw in on the half back line there for the Port Melbourne side, and that was terrible play there by Crutchfield, Gary.
Yes, I think what must have happened previously was that he thought Bardol played on and the ball must have crossed the line.
Throw in, Dunbar to Zarnecki. Zarnecki's left foot snap is high. It's right through the middle. They go to 13-point lead now, Frankston. A great goal to Zarnecki.
You know, Charlie, no one can make nuggets like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know that, Frederick.
Tender, bite-sized pieces of chicken cooked golden like the Colonel's special way.
I know that, Frederick.
After all, Kentucky Fried Chicken only do chicken. That's why their nuggets taste so good.
I know that, but what about the herbs and spices?
I thought you liked the way they were cooked.
I do.
Well, make up your mind, Charlie.
I have.
Well?
I like everything about Kentucky Nuggets.
Kentucky Nuggets from Kentucky Fried Chicken, made special to taste great.
Frankston is 7 points up at the moment. As we see attacking here for Port Melbourne is Harkins. He gets it up towards his teammate in Metcalf. Metcalf shoots for goal, and I think he's put it through for full points.
Hi. I've been given just 30 seconds to tell you you don't need to be confused by changes in taxation law. ITP will ensure you pay as little tax as possible by claiming your every legal deduction. All right, here we go then. You don't need to be confused by changes in taxation law. ITP, the income tax professionals, will ensure that you pay as little tax as possible by claiming your every legal deduction, and at a price you can afford.
There's an ITP office near you.
Right, and let's check the score now. Frankston 103, Port Melbourne a total of 96. And just while players going on there, I'd like a comment from Gary Bryce. Port Melbourne seem to have got in a little bit of trouble since the rough stuff came in, Gary.
Well, I think they're more concerned with atoning for that than really concentrating on the football. And I think they've got to get their mind back on the job.
Right, and the mark has been taken by Mutimer, wide of centre-half back, and we've got Frankston scragging and hanging on at every opportunity and then opening up and scoring the goals at the moment. Here it comes out towards Zarnecki. He can't quite get to the ball, and the opportunity for the big fellow to come through here in Harkins. Taken away now by Crutchfield. Crutchfield up towards the half-forward line. If Port can get a goal here, it'll be very interesting. But Frankston defending well as it comes back towards the boundary line, over and out for the throw-in. We have Frankston 15-13, 103. Port Melbourne 14-12, a total of 96. 7 points the difference in Frankston's favour, and play has been in progress 16 and a half minutes. There, no one getting the advantage on the throw-in, and it will be a ball up. Umpire Gleeson coming in for the bounce. And the Frankston crowd really alight here at the moment. Allender gets the knockout. He didn't know where the ball had gone to then. It comes down towards Saru, who ended up under the players, and Saru will get the free kick. So Saru, from the half-back line, gets the hand pass straight across here to Dunbar. Dunbar of Frankston towards centre-half forward. Up they go for it. Punch back in towards the centre, eludes 2 Port players. Allender having trouble picking it up. A nice blind turn by Allender. Oh, hand pass to a teammate who is right under the hammer. And the free kick will be taken for Frankston by Whitfield. Whitfield out to Zarnecki. Zarnecki now trying to balk and then eventually gets the hand pass here. Nice little dodge this time by Beaton. Beaton with a pass across towards his teammate in Whitfield, who shoots downfield. And Moore is the player to take the mark. He's right within scoring range on a very slight angle and has every opportunity of scoring. Frankston playing on top of Port Melbourne at the moment. Port have had the opportunity. They've had the ball up on their forward line a couple of times. As that goes on its way, and full points on the board again to Frankston.
Herbal C. A very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors. This herbal C has a strong soothing action of eucalyptus and menthol and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C, while this herbal C has a gentle soothing action of honey and lemon and the fresh flavor of herbal extracts plus vitamin C. You might get stuck with a sore throat this winter, but at least you won't get stuck with the same ordinary flavors. Herbal C, a very different throat lozenge in 2 very different flavors.
13 points the difference now as Geddes bursts through for Frankston. He kicks long towards Bardole. Off the hands of the pack and forced through for one behind. Frankston now 16-14, 110. Lead Port Melbourne 14-12, 96. We've been playing nearly 19 minutes now in this final quarter as Cooper kicks wide out towards the halfback flank. Carter takes the mark on his chest. Port Melbourne need to get the ball up forward quickly. Carter kicks up towards the wing position. McDonald flies and takes a strong mark. McDonald with the left foot kick. Looking there for Doherty. He was grabbed. Play on, says the umpire. Coming through well there was Jennings. Jennings now onto the right foot, kicks long up towards the goal square, but in defence there for Frankston was Brown. Brown goes wide towards Dunbar on the outer side flank. He takes the mark, settles down play. Brown makes a lead. Dunbar decides to go long, but he's kicked it straight to Metcalf. Bad disposal there. Play on, says the umpire. No, he's dragged him back. Metcalf had stolen the break there, but he's going to have to go back behind the mark and take his kick. Port trail by 14 points. Metcalf goes short to Crutchfield. Crutchfield tries to play on. He was grabbed by Zarnecki, and he'll kick from the half-forward line. Crutchfield's kick long to the teeth of goals. Saru tries to take the mark, can't do so. Still on top of it. Play on, says the umpire. And the umpire will come and bounce now.
Gee, Frankston are doing a lot of scragging and hanging on, aren't they, Gary?
Yes, well, they realise that they had the advantage of the wind, and it's to their advantage to do that.
Bounce. Saru gets the tap. Mutimer, the left foot kick is smothered by Raven. Hicks leads the race for the ball. Bella's hot on him. Hicks gets the kick in towards the centre of the ground. Geddes with the long hand pass out to Zarnecki. Zarnecki comes around onto the left foot, kicks wide up to the wing position, and McCarty takes a strong mark. McCarty has come into the game a little bit now. Out on the wing position, wide he has Whitfield. Takes that option. Whitfield now will kick long in towards the centre half forward position. Nobody there though for Frankston. The Port players messed it up. Ellender can't pick it up. Finally does so. Gets the handball to Dermott. Dermott's kick out towards the wing position. Doherty runs out after it. Picked up there by O'Reilly. O'Reilly snaps in towards the centre of the ground and finds Saru. Saru holds the ball up to Taylor and kicks the ball long. We've been playing now 21.5 minutes. Coming through hard there now is Beaton. Beaton's kick up towards the forward pocket. Frankston starting to mess around a little bit now. Should have marked that. The ball gets kicked in towards Dunbar and he makes no mistake. Dunbar with a lot of options for passes, but he was too slow. He's about 50 to 55 metres out from goal. Has the wind behind him, but it'll take a mighty kick from him to make the distance. Kick is long, it's high. It's going to drop short though. Moore takes the mark. Play on, says the umpire. Gary Bryce, what did you think?
I would have paid the mark. I thought it was a great attempt to mark. He held it and took it to the ground and it popped out.
Well, only a play on, said the umpire. It was forced through for one behind. So Frankston now lead by 15 points.
And Cooper looking for the lead now as he prepares to play out. He looked across here towards the outer side, then plays up the centre. Players getting in under the ball, off the hands of the pack. The umpire allowed play to continue with the player pulled around the neck. Hand pass out here in the direction of Saru. He's ridden into the ground. The umpire again has called play on. And it's McDonald in there being manhandled, but the umpire this time has decided to come in for the ball up. A lot of scragging, a lot of scrambling play going on at the present time with Frankston 16-15, leading Port Melbourne 14 goals, 12. Saru goes for the knockout. Comes out here to be taken away for Frankston by Raven. Raven up towards that left forward pocket, but it's gone over the line and out again. Now here it is, back into play. Allender getting the knockout from the ruck position. Moving in here is Beaton. Beaton shooting towards goals for Frankston, and he's put it through for the minor score of 1 point. So Frankston go to 16-16 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, and we have Port Melbourne on 14 goals, 12. It looks as though Port Melbourne has shot a bit at the moment, Gary.
Yes, Frankston certainly have the game well under control at this stage. I don't think that they can really get back into it, Port. They haven't really got enough effective forwards to do the job for them, and I think Geddes has been outstanding at centre-half back, and now they've thrown him onto the ball. He's continuing to be dominant there as well.
18 points the difference, 23, almost 24 minutes gone in the final quarter as Cooper kicks out to the half-forward flank position. Coming through well was Hicks for Port Melbourne. Roves the pack well, goes short with the kick. Punched away, though, by Amore. Play on, says the umpire, as it comes in towards Ross. He tries to gain control. Raven tackles him. Well played there by Ross as he breaks away. Gets the hand pass up towards Metcalf. Metcalf has a bounce. Has a few players loose up forward. Decides to go long. Up towards Bailey. Off the hands. Play on, says the umpires now. Leading the race for the ball there is Jennings. Jennings twists and turns. Goes backwards. Good play there. And finds McDonald. Now, Paul McDonald is only 20 metres out from goal. He's kicked 2 goals, 1 so far for the game. 24, nearly 25 minutes gone. He'll need to kick this if Port are going to have any chance of taking out this match. McDonald's kick's on its way. I think he's just squeezed it through. No, he's missed. Terrible mistake by the Port Melbourne full forward. And that's his second behind for the game. He's kicked 2 goals too.
Yes, it would have made it 10 points the difference and given the Port Melbourne team a lot of incentive there to go on further. We're coming into time on at the 25-minute mark into the final quarter, and Port Melbourne, as you can see, a 97 down on Frankston's score on the Mitsubishi scoreboard of 112. We remind you that at the end of the game, Tony Banks will be awarding the Mitsubishi Tankard to the best player on the ground today. There's been several good players too on both sides. Kickoff comes towards the centre half-back position. Up they go, and the mark has been taken by O'Reilly of Frankston. O'Reilly out here wide, bursting away from the pack is Whitfield. Whitfield with a hand pass, gets it across to Brown. Brown with his kick towards centre half forward, and the mark has been taken down here by Bardol. He's played a strong game too in the second half, particularly Bardol. Taken the big mark when necessary, and took a big mark there a while ago, and the umpire didn't allow it. He's kicked 2 goals so far, and this could be his 3rd coming up. He's only about 40 metres out from goal, puts it on its way, and it'll be a goal. No, it's a behind. Well, we got that one wrong. I was watching the goal umpire, and he didn't quite go right across, but the minor score up to Frankston, and they move on to 16-17. 113 to Port Melbourne's 14-10, a total of 97.
Waiting for the ball to come back into play. Gary Bryce Bardol has been a strong player there.
Yes, he has. He's done very well since he's been moved to that forward line. The fullback position doesn't really suit him.
Cooper with the kick. Kick short. Port Melbourne have got to get a couple of goals quickly now. Ball comes out towards the wing position. It's gone out of bounds for a throw-in. Throw-in on centre wing position. Saru over the back. Geddes comes through. Picks up. Has plenty of time, Geddes. Chips the kick into the half-forward line. Bardol and Cooper. Cooper bursts through. He's been a great player today. Kicks the ball off the ground. Mutimer now comes through the centre of the ground. Gets the handball working out towards Metcalf. Metcalf, long handball to Crutchfield. Crutchfield has got a chance to run in now and post a goal. Runs in and has put it straight through the centre. And it's a badly needed goal to Port Melbourne. That's Crutchfield's first. We've played 27 3/4 minutes now. And Frankston 16-17, 113. And Port Melbourne are 15-13, 103.
And it'd be difficult to select the best player. We'll be asking Gary Bryce at the finish of the game. As we have the umpire coming in for the bounce. Port Melbourne are 15-13, Frankston 16-17. Port desperately need a goal with only about 3 minutes of play left in the game, I'd say. As it comes wide, the chance now for O'Brien to get it downfield. He gets it out to Zarnecki. Zarnecki up towards Bardole. Up they fly for it, off the hands of the pack, out towards the boundary line. But coming in for Frankston is Whitfield. Whitfield takes a shot, but it's gone over the line and out. Ruckman battling one another here, taken by Allender. Allender goes for the hand pass, eventually ends up across here at centre half back to Hicks. Hicks with his kick up towards the forward zone. Now here's the chance, as we have Crutchfield coming into it again. He can line them up, put it up towards the forward zone, but it's dribbled over the line and out of bounds by McDonald. A bit low, couldn't quite get to the ball, off balance, and hit the boot and over the line it went. If Port Melbourne can get a goal here, it will make it very, very interesting. Time starting to run out for them, though, at the 29-minute mark into the final quarter. 10 points the difference in Frankston's favour. Port desperately fighting as Crutchfield goes up. Pick up by McDonald, screw shot for goal. Got the mark in the last line of defence taken by Dunbar. Dunbar of Frankston with the kick around the half-back line, waiting under the ball is Whitfield. He failed to take it. Comes through here to the Port Melbourne player in Carter. Carter now with his kick towards that centre-forward zone. But again, Geddes coming into it to take the mark in defence. Geddes played a very strong game all day.
Possession?
18th possession, was it?
That's his 18th possession, made up of 11 kicks and 7 hand passes.
Right, and now we have moving into it is Raven. Raven now for Frankston, up towards the half-forward line for O'Brien. O'Brien with a hand pass, gets it across here to Bardole. Bardole shooting for goal, dribbles along the ground and goes through for the 1 point. So Frankston 16-18, 114, and the Port Melbourne 15-13, 103.
We've been playing almost 30 and a half minutes now. 11 points the difference as Hicks takes the mark. Port Melbourne desperate now. Kick into the centre of the ground. Mutimer takes it. Plays on straight away. The long kick forward. Up high from behind was Brown punching it away. Bailey tries to pick it up. Players dive on top of the ball and it'll be a bounce about 55 metres out from the Port Melbourne goal. They trail by 11 points and we've played nearly 31 minutes in this final quarter. Geddes gets the tap. Dunbar tries to go in. The kick finally from Harkins is high, but in defence is Arthur Bell, and he takes the saving mark for the Frankston side. Bell is kicked down towards the centre half back position. Geddes takes a strong mark. Plays on straight away to Raven, who wasn't ready. Finally comes to O'Reilly. O'Reilly's kick comes out wide. There's a strong mark taken there by O'Brien. O'Brien, sandball finds Whitfield as Frankston go forward once more up towards Bardole. Kelvin Moore comes across the front of the pack. McCarty picks up. He's tackled solidly there, and the umpire says dropping the ball, and there's a fine tackle there by Ross. Ross will take the free kick. Kick up towards the wing position. McDonald will fly and takes the mark. There's the siren. It's all over, and Frankston has run out winners by 11 points. Frankston 16-18, 114 have defeated Port Melbourne 15-13, 103 in a great game of football.
Right, well, there it is, and we'll be back to give you the atmosphere in the dressing room and the Best Player Award in just a few moments.
1943, and the anguish of Europe was about to ignite the world. While Hitler sought the final solution, two religions met, and a Franciscan monk led the fortunate few to freedom. The true story of the Assisi Underground premieres 8:30 Wednesday on 10.
Oh, Jaffers!
Well, hi-ho, Silver, it's Jaffers time.
Jaffers ain't flat, they're not even square.
Whoa, Jaffers, they're chocolatey balls with orange coating.
Roll around your mouth and keep on floating.
Shake those Jaffers round your big long tongue.
Making it sound like clunk, clunk,
So flippity-flip and hippity-hop.
Roll your body down to a Japper shot, 'cause life's a ball with Jappers, yeah. Life's a ball with Jappers, yeah. Life's a ball.
Introducing Microbuff's personal computer package Buy of the Year, the amazing PC Pro. The IBM compatible with a very compatible price tag. But just look what Microbuff's all-up price includes. Printer port, time clock, 640Ks of memory, twin 360 disk drives, green screen monitor, plus 12 months warranty. Microbuff. Call it the PC package of the year. You call it the best reason ever to buy a computer. See it now at Microbuff.
How far will a dog go for love? Love tender chunks. Only the best will do for love.
We're gonna work together and love together, gonna make this garden grow.
But me, I'm working up an appetite. I'm gonna have to go. I'll shout there McDonald's, I'll be right back with some juicy quarter pounders and a great Big Mac.
It's a good time for the great taste. Lunchtime! Good time for the great taste. It's a good time for the great taste.
Great idea.
Of McDonald's.
Well, a win to Frankston down here, and a good win. They went right on with it in the final quarter. Gary Bryce, the former captain and coach of Port Melbourne, to comment. A very elated Frankston side we can see in the dressing rooms there, Gary, and no doubt a disappointed Port Melbourne side, but they're still not out of it as far as the four is concerned.
No, they still have a chance to make it, and full credit to Frankston. They were the best side on the day, but I must say that Port, I thought they fought very hard. They fought the game right out. But Frankston, I think the marking power that they do have really told in the end, and some of the Port players just ran out of a little bit of legs. I think that Port have still got a chance, and I think while they've got a chance, there's hope, and they'll give their best shot next week. But full credit, Frankston, I think the two outstanding players of the game were Geddes and Saru, and I guess it's hard to separate them, but if I was selecting the best player, and I am, well, I'll give it to Geddes. I thought that he played a magnificent captain's game for Frankston all day, both at centre half back and then particularly in the last quarter where they threw him into the ball, into the ruck. I thought he was a real steadying influence for them, but that's not to decry Saru's efforts. He was fantastic all day too, but Peter Geddes for mine.
All right, and a great trophy there, Ian. Some of these statistics on the game and then down to Tony Banks.
Yes, the marking ability that Gary was referring to is evident. Frankston took a total of 92 marks for the game, Port Melbourne 73. Free kicks are quite interesting, with 27 awarded to Frankston and 44 awarded to Port Melbourne. Kick getters for Frankston, Peter Geddes, best man on the ground with 11 kicks and 8 hand passes, giving him a total of 19 possessions. Saru, a tremendous game with 17 kicks, taking 14 marks and 13 hand passes. Moore, 15 kicks. O'Brien, 15 and Painter, 12. Port Melbourne, Crutchfield, 19 and Cooper, 10. Quick goal, major goal kickers for Port Melbourne, 2 each to Swan, Hicks, McDonald and Mornay. And for Frankston, 3 each to McCarty and Painter and 2 each to Jones, Bardole and Zarnecki.
Eddie Maguire. I wish you looked a bit older, Eddie. About the best player, what did you think?
Yes, I thought that was a good decision there by Gary Bryce. I'm sitting next to him, so I have to be diplomatic here, but Ian Cooper was probably a great player, probably Port Melbourne's best player. Put McCarty out of business very early in the piece, was strong all day. As Gary said, Geddes was very good, Saru was very good. Also, I thought Taylor came into it a little bit for Port Melbourne in the end there, but Saru far too good on the day.
Righto, Eddie, and now Tony Banks is down in the dressing rooms of Frankston. He will award that magnificent Mitsubishi trophy and talk with some of the players. So down to you, Tony.
In the Frankston rooms, and Peter Geddes, the best player on the ground. Congratulations, Pete. I think with respect to the rest of your teammates, they all contributed a great deal today.
Yeah, I think you could say everyone put in all day and they could all receive a trophy. That's for sure.
Where do you think you won the game? Was it the wind advantage in the final quarter?
Nah. I thought if you look back on the game, the wind didn't pay that much heed to who actually scored the goals for each quarters. What it was a really hard-fought game, and we were able to finish on the quarters a lot better than we have in recent weeks, which we've been working on. that's where we want, I reckon, finishing on each quarter, getting back.
Well, you've certainly been very consistent this year. You're up there, second position. You probably put Port Melbourne out of action now. That must be pretty pleasing to you.
Yeah, well, Port have been up there for a long time, and I think Frankston, we'd like to think it's our turn over the next few years, and that's what we're doing at the moment. We're pushing those teams out while we make our charge to the finals.
Jeff Saru led you very well in the ruck division.
Magnificent. I mean, you couldn't want a better player on the field. All the guys get behind him. He's a strong player, but he's totally committed to Frankston, and that's what we want.
There's a bloke called Taylor who was behind him a fair bit today, but I think he was behind him in stats too, because he took about 15 marks. Yourself, congratulations. There's the trophy.
Thank you very much.
Mitsubishi trophy, best player in the ground. Peter Geddes. We'll try and get Graham Kendall up. Graham, the coach. Thanks, Graham. Graham, level pegging for 3 quarters, a great last quarter. You said the wind really wouldn't have a great deal to do with it. You must have been pleased with the way the players battled it out.
Yeah, look, you've got to give Port credit, because in the early part of the quarter they was a little bit nerve-wracking. They really put the pressure on, ran the ball up into the wind, and as Ged said, I don't think the wind never had a bearing on the game. But look, our tackling, our determination, particularly at times when Port had got the break, and we fought ourselves back into it in that third quarter, which I think was critical. And you know, the tenacity and the way they went about it, fantastic. Really.
Graham, we'll see you in the finals. Congratulations. That's it from down the Frankston rooms. Back to the commentary team.
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. Now let's have a look at the final scores and scores quarter by quarter, and there they are. Port Melbourne led at the first change. We're down 1 point at half-time. Scores level at three-quarter time, and eventually we had Frankston going out the winners 16-18, 114, as against Port Melbourne's 15-13, 103. Well, at this stage, we thank you very much, Gary Bryce, for joining us this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed it. Looking at it from the other side of the fence, we've always looked at you from this side of the fence.
It's been a pleasure, Phil. It's been great to be involved with VFA, and it's great to see them back on television again.
Eddie, good to see you along.
Thanks very much, Phil.
By this time next week, I hope you do look old.
I probably will if I stay up in the cold here too much longer. It's a nice air-conditioned box we've got here.
Okay, and good to see you again, Ian.
Well, I don't think we could have got a better game to come back to VFA. It was very entertaining.
And we'll be with you again next week, and the big match will be Coburg versus Preston.
A-team swap side.
Pity the poor man who crosses my path, because